10. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Answer the Call. Our first Answer the Call using our Discord. We made a new Answer the Call Discord, so if you guys are watching on Twitch, !Discord in chat. I don't think it's currently in. You just put it in, didn't you? In the description.
Yeah, it's not on YouTube, but I'll be linking it
Yeah.
in the comments every now and then, so you can just follow that link.
Yep, and we'll put it in the description for the actual video if you're watching it later, and it will be in every other podcast from this point forward. One thing that we just it slipped our minds today. But yeah, if you guys are not familiar with the Answer the Call podcast, it's a podcast with myself and Croncy, where we talk about Star Citizen stuff each week. But the thing that sort of makes it unique from a lot of the other Star Citizen podcasts are we take calls from you guys. And one thing that's going to be a bit unique today is if there are any YouTube members in the Discord, one thing that we don't like to do is we like to stick to the topics, but our fans that like to call in do not. And one of the things that we said is for the YouTube members, once a month or once every other month, something like that, you're free to talk about whatever you want. You got like 5-10 minutes, and we'll discuss any topic that's outside of the things that we're on for now. And we'd like to give you more stuff in the future, but we're building everything up and figuring it all out. We're still figuring out the podcast as we go. But it was a busy week.
Yeah.
Busy week. You weren't around as much, right? You were busy doing IRL stuff.
Yeah, it's been really annoying ever since 323 came out. What if we just had IRL stuff to do every single day? It's been a little frustrating. But I've still gotten to check out every day of Invictus, which is good. Because there was a lot of stuff that happened in the last couple of days. And also still got to do a bunch of racing stuff recently. Like we had the finals of the System 7 yesterday. Got to check out you racing today as well, yesterday for a lot of you. I got to check that out, which was kind of cool. Just to start off with a little fun thing, how'd you feel about that? You did some competitive racing today.
Yeah, it was fun. I did the Anzia Racing. Oh, what was it called? The Ignition Expo.
Ignition Expo.
Yeah, and it was an endurance race in Arena Commander in a private match. Custom lobby, they're calling them, right? In a custom lobby in Arena Commander, there were, I don't know how many people were in our group, maybe like 8 or something like that. And but there was like 32 or 40 something racers total, and I came in the top 10. I don't know if I came in 9th or 10th. But I came in the top 10, and my ship was never going top speed that often, so there was something wrong. I couldn't figure it out. I was dealing with all sorts of issues. I was like a Ferrari in F1. Like I didn't have an engineer to help. It was a mess. But I did really well, and I liked the idea of the endurance race. It was pretty cool because like everybody else was crashing a lot, and I went the turtle versus the hare. I was the turtle. I was just like, all right, I'm gonna go slow, and I'm not gonna crash. And I did pretty good for that. So it was a lot of fun. Yeah, they were really organized. They were really professional. It was neat. Had a good time.
Yeah, hell yeah! It's sick that we can now do those on private servers. And just how much that changes everything. It makes everything so much easier, and like there's a lot more integrity now to doing those sort of events. So
exactly,
it was cool to watch you. It was very disappointing to see you not win.
I was not, dude. I was in the pro lobby. It was Herbie, Gerbo, like everybody that is a pro was in my lobby. So I had no shot. But given the situation that I could never keep my vehicle at top speed, I think I did okay.
Yeah. It showed me something that was really cool just from the perspective. Like, so I was watching from the Anzia side.
Yeah.
Watching there's been nothing in Star Citizen yet in 323 that's made me go, the water improvements were necessary and cool. They they are cool, they look cool, whatever, but you never see them. And then that entire race is just really like, here is all of the cool new water effects in like their best form and working for everyone. And I don't know, it was just very, very cool to see that too. So, it was cool to watch that.
The other thing that I would want to point out is that performance was horrible. So I had to turn off
Yeah.
everything. Like water effects were all turned off for me. I was
Right.
at the lowest possible performance. So that
Hmm.
kind of blew. So the people that were like the cameras pointing down a bit further away from us,
Yeah. Yeah.
there's definitely something going on because like you start out on the ground when you spawn in your
Hmm.
vehicle, and performance is great. The moment, whether you have it on or not, the
Yeah.
water
Yeah.
sim, the moment you take the vehicle over the water, you feel it go like, zzz. You're like, oh my god. So there's some definite optimizations that can be done, I think. But it was a
Yeah.
good time. I had a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of big news this week. What do we want to talk about first? Uh,
The
yeah, like early. Go ahead.
the first thing that I would like to ask though, before we get into
Yeah.
anything, how's Croncy's mic? You were a bit low. I turned you up in Discord, and and like sometimes you're a bit high, sometimes you're a bit low. I just want to make sure that we're okay. But
Let me
I'm
know,
gonna let
guys.
you pick. I'm gonna let you pick the next topic. Was a bit quiet, but
Um,
okay now, right?
yeah, sometimes it's literally just because I'm talking from here and it's like whatever.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, probably the biggest thing that was like actually like news this week was from the SE testing chat
Oh
where hey
yeah.
guys, turns out they're gonna try to do 3.23.2 like right now. They were hoping to at the earliest get it ready on Friday. That didn't happen, but they want to do Evo Cardi essentially like what started this next coming week, and then accelerated PTU. So that's the cargo update.
Yeah.
That's freight elevators. That's everything in relation to freight elevators. I'm trying to remember what the other stuff are. Like
Freight
the
elevators, cargo missions,
yep.
your personal hangar,
Hmm.
party members joining your
The
personal
personal
hangar.
inventory as well.
Yeah, personal inventory,
Yep.
spawning things up, gear storage, possibly furniture in the
Hmm.
hangars, all of those things that they said would come with it. Will that all be there on day one of an Evo patch? Evo says no usually, so we'll see
Normally, but
we get.
it sounds like maybe they'll just like because they're saying accelerated Evocardian wave system, it might all just be in there straight off the bat. And I wouldn't be that surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised either, but given the wording here, which currently contains hangars, cargo updates, and more,
Sure.
they're wordsmiths, man. So they're using the "and more" to give themselves an out when not everything is there
Yeah, yeah.
initially. Which most Evo patches, things aren't there initially, and they build up over
Yep.
time. I think the best example was the most recent patch we've been dealing with. Right, the Evo cycle
Yep.
was rough, but we got there
Mhm.
in the end. So,
Yep.
but very cool. Very exciting. I will not be sleeping from the moment this thing releases until the end of time. Basically,
Yeah.
this is. There's a few things that we're going to discuss today that are the start of me. You know, I'd love to have a discussion right now. You and I got
Mhm.
into it a little bit last week. I got a lot of
Yep.
crap in the comments, and I deserved it. I think somewhat, but because of
I got told to never be back on the podcast. So I think we had a fair amount of people
well, people
against
said you were
both
going to
of us last
quit
week.
because I was rude to you. Yeah, okay. Stop being weird in the comments. Number one. Number two, Star Citizen, in my opinion, is not a
Mhm.
game. It's not a game. And there are some things for me and my opinion
Mhm.
for it to become a game. And they're starting to
Yep.
say a lot of those things lately. This is
Mhm.
one of those things. And there's a few things that we're going to talk about that for the first time ever, if they deliver those things in a decent state, I'm going to be saying that less and less and less.
Mhm.
And I can't wait. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I just want to talk like chill, guys. Chill. I also need to chill. I definitely got very passionate, and that is the nicest way of saying the way I was acting. It was embarrassing. But I still stand by my points, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I think we had a great discussion last week. I
yeah.
don't know what people were getting at. It was good. It was fun. It was healthy. And in addition to that, you could still be weird in the YouTube comments. Just make sure you like and subscribe before you do,
True.
so that we get that engagement. Thank you. Very
Yeah,
very cool.
YouTube members, you're allowed to be weird.
YouTube members specifically can be
Yeah.
extra weird. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
one of the perks.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, obviously you've talked so much forever since they talked about cargo that like that was your big thing for 323,
Yeah.
and then it got pushed and whatnot. So like, of course, this massive like actual gameplay feature stuff is going to have that impact. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's gonna be a well, hopefully it's gonna be a really fun week to try this stuff out. Do you think it's possible, just be based on their wording? Do you think it's possible we'll like see a wave one by the end of the week?
Uh, yeah, sure. I mean, they
Yeah.
had a lot of time with it to try to get it like we don't know the severity of the issues. The
Yeah,
only
exactly.
thing that we know is that apparently the hangar update existed in an Evo at some point, but
Hmm.
only the first person on the server had the hangar. Like literally
Right.
the first person in the server, and that was it. We think that was the case. That was some, down the grapevine telephone kind of
Sure.
things that I heard about it. If that was the only issue that they had to resolve, then possibly. If there are countless issues that came up after that or whatever,
Hmm.
it's so hard to say right now. But no matter what, concurrency is the thing that's going to resolve these issues, right? We can't keep
Yep.
doing we're going to open it up to 5 people. Those 5 people are going to give feedback, and then we're going to leave it at like that's Evo's been
Yep.
problematic from that standpoint. So unless there's very specific things that they want feedback in, I hate the idea of Evo, period. So I hope we get to a wave one
Yep.
very quickly. I also hate the idea of wave one. I hate the idea of that there are some people that are watching and create opinions about things without trying them first. I hate it all.
Hmm.
Like if there was a way to just go open wave PTU, that's what they should do.
Yep.
Um, yeah. Again, I
Yeah.
don't think
Sure.
we could go back to the conversation of being able to talk about Evo and all that garbage.
Hmm.
I never wanted it that way. I just wanted them to tell us what the features were in Evo so we can talk about them and speculate them amongst ourselves. I did
Yep.
not want what we have now. I don't think it's the right thing to do.
Yep. I definitely appreciate the like. I'll say especially for for a patch like 323.0, I
Hmm.
definitely appreciate the like we don't want to overload our testing so much, and then it's like, that slow build up or whatever. But yeah, for something like this patch that doesn't have like a lot of back end tech, it's really just it's just a feature that has to communicate information about items. Uh, yeah, I mean, they said accelerated wave 1 through 5, whatever that ends up meaning, as long as it is in fact accelerated, then I think that'll be fine and it'll be good. Um,
Like my hope would be by
yeah,
Friday they're past wave one.
yeah.
Like what?
I
Like
mean, we could even
we're
see.
talking open, but the thing is, we might not
Yeah,
even get the patch until Friday, right? So we'll see.
yeah, exactly. I think, yeah, in that image that you said, it was like they're expecting midweek Evo patches. So,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, we'll see how that goes. I imagine there's going to be lots like this is going to be a bug heavy patch rather than a stability issue patch, I think. Um,
We'll see.
I
Hopefully,
imagine.
it's
Yeah.
specifically bugs just on this feature and not ones that creep out
Not new ones
everywhere.
elsewhere.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
hey, hopefully some fixes as well, right? We're hoping
Yep.
for the dupe fix,
Hmm.
things like that. That might be an interesting thing to chat about for a moment with you
Yeah.
for a few minutes. Um, if they fix the dupe,
Hmm.
what are they going to do after? Are they going to wipe again? How do people
They
feel about
have
that? They
to.
raised. I
Yeah. Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
I agree. But we're in a situation
But
where
it looks
we
bad.
got a few ships. We can
Hmm.
start the game and like be okay. There's a lot of people that don't, and they just raised the prices of ships.
Yep.
I don't. I don't know how everyone's going to feel about that, and I think we're in a situation where we're kind of sitting on our high horse, telling them to wipe, and other people might be like,
Mm.
"Yo, what the hell, man? I legitimately tried."
Yep.
In other situations with dupes, unfortunately, we saw them say that they were only going to wipe the uh, offenders. That didn't
Hmm.
happen. That didn't happen.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
like, can't trust them to do that right. So, I want
Yeah.
them to wipe as well. But yeah, we'll see. I think there
Yeah.
should have
I'd like
always
them to
been a
wipe.
wipe with the hanger update. Like, I don't know why they didn't wait till then anyway, but hey, here we are.
There'll be one in 4.0, I imagine.
For sure. Yeah.
So maybe they would just like, maybe we can edge up that like wipe a little bit longer, which would probably make enough people happy. I'm not sure. what I will say though is this was the first time that I'd seen a dupe that I was like, like we've had dupes a bunch of times in the past, and I was
Sure.
always kind of like, this sucks. But I don't think CIG should do a ton about it right now. Just fix it for the next patch, whatever. This was the first time where I was like, no, I think we need to start like being real aggressive, either now or soon, about these types of exploits. Not necessarily bans. I mean, specifically fixing them,
Mm-hmm.
and like if you need to shut the game down for a day to stop this, I'm for that now. I think the
Oh wow.
experience is in a area now that where that sort of stuff should happen. And that's what happens in other games, right? If you
Sure.
have um I don't know, I'll use Sea of Thieves as an example. If you have an exploit in Sea of Thieves where people are just abusing stuff crazily, they'll turn off the service for 12 hours to fix it, you know?
Yeah.
So
I I I
yeah. I
don't
might be still
necessarily.
early on that, but
Yeah, I think you are
yeah.
pretty early on that. The thing,
Mhm.
like, I am in agreement of the severity of the issue, and that they should resolve it. But
Mhm.
I'm only in that standpoint because of the words that they said leading up to this one. Hey, we want to wipe. We want to gather information. What information are you
Mhm.
gathering out of this patch about player behavior at all, other than they're always going to go for the most money, right? Like,
Mhm.
outside of that, they're always going to do the thing that makes the most money, and they're always going to exploit if there's an exploit. But the outside
Yep.
of that, you raised the ship prices, you didn't really resolve too many issues with the economy, you created another one, and you want to gather information. This was not an information gathering session. It was quite the
Yep.
opposite. So the only way to gather that information, unfortunately, is to wipe and do it again.
Yeah. Yeah. So
You know?
yeah, it's a little sucky, obviously, but it's not. I guess it's not as impactful to the game
Yeah.
yet because there's still no like player to player trading really
Yeah.
happening.
It only
So
hurts
yeah,
yourself. It only hurts
yeah,
yourself. It might hurt pirates a bit because people
hmm
are less motivated to make money. So they're not going to be doing things at the usual spots, right? Things like
hmm
that. It hurts the game, but it hurts the game in a long term perspective a lot more than it hurts the game in the short term patch of like, am I having fun or not?
yeah, yeah,
That's really the main thing. Is we want to get to a place where they're not wiping as much anymore, where the economy is in a
yep,
decent place. So we want their information to be valuable, and their
hmm
information is not valuable at the moment, in my opinion. I
yeah.
don't know. Maybe they're gathering good data, but how can it be
It's
good?
well, yeah. The only data that would be relevant now is like mission data, like how much money people are making for missions. Everything
Yeah.
else is kind of like screwed because of this.
Yep.
I will say one of the cool impacts that happened from it that was kind of dope that once again only happens in a game like Star Citizen is me seeing all of the people who are like, all right, we're gonna start pirating all the dupers and we're doing all these big pirate like operations and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that was very cool to watch over the course of the week. And yeah, no, it was dope. I don't see that anywhere else.
That's true. It's true. It's cool. But yeah, hopefully they get it fixed. And
Mm.
I guess we can talk about 323.1a. This is the first time they mentioned it,
Hmm.
that there would be a 1a, which I think everybody was expecting 323.2 to be next. But I don't know. That one caught me off guard a little bit. It is what it is. It's whatever. But we're going into PT. Like, what is
Yep.
the timeline of this? The patches
Mhm.
coming out. What has what in it? Like, my head is spinning with the amount of 4.0 was
Yeah.
last week. 323.2, 323. Like, like, how many things are
Yeah,
we
yeah, yeah.
downloading?
Was this the 323.1a? Is that just from the SCL that Jared mentioned when Jared mentioned it, or was there
No.
another?
There was
Okay,
another mention. So that
okay.
is, and we can kind of tie the two together, was
Because Jared
from,
kind of mentions it as like a quick sort of just like, hey, there's gonna be a fix coming. I don't know when it's gonna come. This patch, this patch, this patch, whatever it is.
it was
Oh, here we go.
here.
Okay,
Yeah, it
right.
was here. So we know one thing that it will include.
Hmm.
Um, what do you think about this? I'm not a Firebird enjoyer. You are a
Hmm.
Retaliator enjoyer.
Hmm.
Uh, I think the Firebird never really made sense from its initial thought, like the way they were selling it anyway.
Hmm.
So bringing it from 12 to 24 looks reactionary to the ship didn't sell. So now we're going to try to make it overpowered so it does. But in reality, it just does bring it in line with the Talon Strike in a lot of ways.
Yep.
But it's also a bit better now than the Talon Strike because it can fire more of them.
Yeah, it
Firebird
can
is
do the
still
stick
bad though.
volley.
Go into Arena Commander. Go into Arena Commander. The stock missiles that are on that Firebird, try to avoid them.
Yeah.
It's not fun. And the stealthiness of it is quite cool to see in Arena Commander as well. It's
Yeah.
not that shit anymore. So
Yeah. I do think this is reactionary to the release of the Firebird. I don't think it necessarily is because of bad sales, but I guarantee they were conscious that this would lead to more sales when they made this decision. 12 is just so low, especially when you do have volleys of 6. It's like, cool, I'm done
yeah,
like after like 30 seconds on the field, and that's kind of like just bad gameplay. That's not enjoyable. And so it feels like I was thinking about it, and it's like I really would have loved to see it maybe have 18, but someone made the point of like, but then it's kind of awkward because you're like refilling up 6 of the pods and not the other 6. Like the other 6 will remain empty. So there could be that to it.
yeah.
Not sure how it'll end up. I will say I don't think the Retaliator needed the laser repeater upgrades. However,
What did they replace the repeaters with?
the
Like,
size 2 ones.
so they're now
So there
size
was
3?
they're all size 3s.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think
Oh,
it needed that upgrade necessarily,
you
but
know what it probably was? Were they
well,
on gimbals or something before and they were always able to be size 3 but they're just putting them stock that way? Or did they
uh
literally up the size of the weapons?
they upped the size of the size 2s. So there was, I want to say, 2 size 3 turrets and 3 size 2 turrets.
Okay, chat's saying they upped
And
it.
so
Yeah,
those ones have been buffed up.
gotcha.
Um,
I think that makes sense.
yeah,
I don't
it
think
makes
there's too many
sense.
large ships that have less than size 3 weapons on them. What
Yeah,
repeaters doesn't matter. You can customize them. You can put
yeah,
whatever
yeah.
makes sense there. Most likely, people are going to be putting Omniskyes or
Mhm.
M5, M6As, whatever they are. But
Yep.
the idea of things being size 3 in large ship turrets has kind of become a standard, I believe. Three or
Yeah,
bigger. So
it definitely has. But like I said, I don't know if it needed the upgrade necessarily. But yeah, making them all uniform in their turrets makes sense. Because like the amount of times that I would have people hop onto the Retaliator, go into a turret, and it's like, oh, why are my guns garbage? It's like, I'm sorry, you pulled the wrong straw and you just went to the one turret that doesn't have them. Um, I do wonder if this is mostly a change for like, hey, if you have base Retaliator, obviously you don't have the Torps anymore, so you are the Retaliator without Torps is almost nothing, right? So
yeah,
it may just be a way to beef that up. Putting the extra size lasers on the Retaliator with the torpedoes doesn't feel as much of a difference. So I don't know. I don't think it needed to happen. I don't think it is a bad thing that it happened necessarily. And I don't think it's going to be super overpowered. People will still never use the Retaliator. They'll still use the Hammerhead or the Redeemer. But
mm,
um, yeah, yeah,
yeah. So this was the first mention of that .A patch. Jared made some
mhm.
weird, like said .B, like 1B. So who
Yeah. I think it
knows
was
what the hell's happening?
just
Yeah,
faffing about and making up patch names. Yeah.
yeah. So I don't think he really knows the names. He just knows that it's coming or something is the way he made it
Hmm.
seem. So we'll have to see what happens with this going forward. No timeline on when this will be. There's also uh the Invictus area. Have you ever like left ArcCorp? Like, dude, it is super laggy. Like having it stream out, like your whole client freezes and things like that. So at the very least, this could just be like, yeah, let's remove all that stuff and bring things back to normal as well. So
Could be the case. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I
like
wouldn't be surprised.
along with a couple bug fixes maybe, and then
Hmm.
maybe the dupe fixes in this one. Although Jared
Yeah.
mentioned the .2 for the dupe fix, so it's hard to say when these things will happen.
Or do you want some? I don't know if it's copium or hopium.
Both work.
Some random speculation. Uh, so Alien Week is like the second to third week of next month.
Hmm.
Um,
Oh my
Based on what
god.
they're saying with the cargo updates, it's possible that that won't be ready for then. So could we see like a straight to flyable like alien ship or something? With
I can't.
this
I'm
dot
like
one A.
trying to think monthly report if they've said anything. and they haven't.
They've just said a lot of like everything in the monthly report has been super cryptic in relation to ships recently.
Everyone in Twitch chat is saying rail in.
You guys are coping now.
Yeah,
It is
hard.
very common. Anytime a ship has already been announced in any form, whether that's like, a concept or whatever, they almost always talk about it in the monthly report. They specifically say this ship is getting work done. So
Yep.
if it would be anything, it would be something new. But it could also be like a variant or something. Anyway, that is
Guys,
complete speculation.
the
So,
rail-in was 4 years ago Ironclad, okay? That's what it was. It was,
yeah.
let's draw a pretty picture, let's make some money,
Yep.
and that's about it. We'll make it when we feel like it, kind of thing.
It would, though. I'm on chat side now. It would be a cool way
It would be
to
awesome.
introduce the other SCU boxes.
Of course.
Because the Raylin has the weird triangle ones.
How big is the rail-in? It's big, right? It's not a small cargo
It's pretty
ship.
large. It's got 300 SCU of cargo, I think.
Oh,
So that's pretty decently sized.
You know what? And that's like actually one of the amounts that we don't really have. That's like a nice medium between like your freelancer and your bigger cargo ships. But now I don't even know what a big cargo ship is anymore. You want to talk about the Ironclad?
Yeah, let's talk about the big cargo boy. So yeah, they obviously announced it during SCL. They had revealed, during ISC, they had revealed last week during SCL that we would be getting a new Drake ship. I don't know if many people were expecting this though. It was interesting. So we have a new cargo ship. I've been calling it the large cargo, and then like anything bigger, this is like extra large. But it's the first cargo ship we've gotten, other than the Hull series, that looks like it is like actually built to be useful gameplay wise.
Yep.
Like it looks really easy to load and unload. It looks like a cargo ship, if that makes sense, because some of the other ones kind of look weird, I guess.
I've talked a lot of it's awesome. I've talked a lot about this kind of concept, not concept ship, but the concept of you don't want your ship to get made. Like the Banu Merchantman people, the Orion, the Arastra, any career-based ship, you don't want your ship to get made now. And this was maybe 6 months ago or whatever. Now, maybe you like at least for cargo, come hangar update and a few other things. Yeah, Starfarer is a good example as well. I see that in Twitch chat. You don't want your ship to get made because that's how you end up with a Starfarer. You don't want your ship to get made because that's how you end up with the Mole. Love the Mole, but I think looking at what mining is today, do you think they would make the Mole the way they made it? Do you think they would make the Prospector the way they made it? Do you think they would make any singular ship in this game functionality-wise the way they made it? Visually, probably, right? But functionally,
but there would be a lot of differences,
There would be a lot of differences inside, how you interact with them, and all sorts of stuff like that. I'm sorry, the Caterpillar would never exist. This ship would not have to exist. The Caterpillar would have been this, right? Because it would have just made more sense. Maybe this would be the bigger version of the Caterpillar, whatever. But this wouldn't make the Caterpillar obsolete. The C2 wouldn't be what it is today. It would be something different. So for a lot of people have seen, these are the most popular reacts I think I've ever made, were the two around these ships. And a lot of people were giving me crap about it. But I don't think people understood what I was trying to say is this is both good and bad. It's very good because it's the first ship I've ever seen them make, like you said, that understood the assignment of what a cargo ship was. But it also negates all of the work that they've done up to this point. Yes, all of the work that they did up to this point got us here. The ships were bad in game to show them how to make a good ship. This is that good ship. So why would I keep a C2 on my account anymore? Why would I keep a Caterpillar on my account anymore? I'll only fly this, right? And I think a lot of people don't understand why I said I would get it now.
I do have answers for that, though, because I don't think they...
In a similar vein...
right? No.
Okay.
In a similar vein to like yeah, they clearly made this with the understanding of how cargo is about to work, you know, in a
How
couple
it
of
works
weeks,
now,
month time, whatever,
even.
how it works now. They have an understanding of that, right?
Yeah, I mean, like
In a
this
similar
section
vein,
we're
I think they
seeing
have an
here
understanding of
tells you
yeah,
they understand how cargo works now versus how it
yep,
was.
exactly. And I think they have an understanding of still wanting to not negate this two specific ships you mentioned, the Hercules and the Caterpillar, into not negating those.
Caterpillar, I think you have an argument. C2, I don't think you do, but go ahead.
There is no way this flies as well as a C2 does in atmosphere. There is no shot. This thing is a brick
Fair.
of tungsten, uh, which I love, by the way. I love that it's just
Same.
a
Love the
block.
look of it.
Yep. And so that's at least where I hope that's where the Hercules will like be, as well as the C2 is like two people, although I would argue with engineering like three. And this is what, six. So there are aspects to that. It doesn't necessarily mean that I like maybe I will fly this a lot more often, but I think they have put that in mind of not negating those two ships. There are other ships that may be negated, but I've been hearing a lot of people saying stuff that like, oh, this is a strict upgrade over XYZ ship, and I don't think that's really the case.
Let me rebuttal
Yeah.
just a little bit and make
Hmm.
sure that the what I mean is clear.
Sure.
I'm speaking specifically from functionality and the
Hmm.
build of the ship. The C2 is horrible to move cargo around. Most of the
Hmm.
boxes are 32 SU. The doors are small. There's sparks everywhere all the time. It is not a good experience. That's what I'm
Yep.
talking about.
Yeah,
You
like the C2
probably are
could have
right.
been made better.
Of course.
Like for sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, of course. And you're
And yeah.
probably right. It's going to probably fly better. But in the end, this functionality trumps that so much for me personally.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean that's a good thing. Like I think that's not too, like as long as they can make it so that for some people those decisions will change,
Yep.
then that's a great thing,
Yeah.
honestly. There's one thing that I will not fight you, but fight a lot of people on, which I saw so many people say, "Well, rip the Liberator. I guess the Liberator is just cringe and bad now, and no one's ever going to use it."
I said that
I
initially.
then yeah.
I said that initially, but go ahead.
I then saw someone on Reddit
Yep.
do a little image
Yep.
where you can hold like 25 tonks on the Liberator. So
It's
don't
eight.
worry, guys,
It's
it's
eight.
fine.
It's eight. But
It's like
eight.
8 per pad.
No, no, no. I saw eight total. But regardless, if it's eight
Okay, well,
total,
still, but yeah,
it is
yeah,
double what this thing holds.
yeah, yeah,
So it is
and
not Rip the
yeah,
Liberator from that
it is not
standpoint.
Rip the Liberator. It's also like this has a hang like I would say like a hangar, like the cargo bay is kind of like a hangar versus you've got these two massive pads that are like open to the elements and stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're very different ships. Though you may and people may end up buying both.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah.
so the
The
next, so I heard from you, you haven't purchased it yet, and you were waiting to see if the assault version, which kind of cool, has like a maintenance bay, which is kind of dope. I like that. It has some extra turrets and stuff. You were waiting to see if this one has a door opening on the top. I've been hearing a lot of people say this.
correct.
I feel like it is very clear it does not have the opening door.
I think it's very
And
clear
like
that it
it's fair
does.
to wait for the Q&A, but I feel like it's super clear it doesn't, because they even in the tech specs, specifically the how they have like the PDF,
Yeah.
specifically in the tech specs, they mention on the base one opening like opening roof slash cargo bay,
Yep.
and then in the assault one it just says cargo bay.
Yep. But also you have the bay door numbers and everything like that here. So, and also if I continue to scroll down,
Mm.
you have a listed amount of cargo that is very high. Do you really think that they only want us to put it through the nose? I don't think so. And then you have the obvious the price, and the price is
Yeah, the
quite
price of it's like, what is it? It's like an extra
excessively
$50 or something. Yeah.
65
Yeah.
US and 75 if you use store credit. So
How
that's not
it's
nothing.
slightly off topic. How does that compare to the C2 versus the M2?
Give
Do
me a
you
moment.
know? I think it's roughly the same difference, maybe.
Give me a moment. I guess we can just open up the Invictus
Mm.
page, right, and go from there.
But that's
Um,
just a curious thing that I was like, because
yeah,
they're
no,
very similar in that like one's heavy cargo, the other one's like chuck a bunch more
bro,
military in
they
it.
are more than similar. That this is Drake's direct answer
Oh,
to
oh,
the
the M2 is even
C2A2.
more expensive.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's
wow.
that's where it's a bit weird.
Hmm.
Um is the pricing on those. So the A2 is $750,
Yeah, the A2 is nuts.
right?
It's
Because it could
crazy.
drop bombs, so I get
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I don't get the price of anything. The Hercules is 400. It is the same
Yeah,
price,
the base regular Hercules 400, yeah.
right?
Which is why it has to be like it has to be much more maneuverable to fight this in the future.
Yeah.
Um,
It
yeah.
has to have an advantage from a price standpoint, but I never like looking at the prices necessarily, the real money
Hmm.
prices of ships, but at the same time, like some they had to think about something here.
Yeah.
Because this is I am definitely just going to melt and upgrade
I
situation
think
for
a lot of
people,
people will. Yeah, yeah.
and they had to know that, and that's kind of wasteful for CIG to do that. But at the same time, there was definitely a spike in funding when this thing launched.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I can quickly, I think, bring that up right here.
Yeah, yeah. So
That's
that was yesterday.
there's that was yesterday. So you know they
And
made $3 million yesterday.
yeah, and that's only like half the sales for like the first day of Drake Day because of when they like reset the counter. So yeah,
There's also the Kraken.
it's pretty
Yeah,
crazy.
Kraken's a part of that though, but
The Kraken is a part of it. I don't think the
we don't know
whole
how many
limited
they
ships have
sell.
as much. Yeah, but I don't think they have as much of a impact as people realize. I think that's much more like obviously that spike is um due to the new ship for sure. Because otherwise you would have seen the same spikes happen when the Javelin went off for sale and the Idris went off for sale. You know,
Hmm. So somebody in chat says click on the month view. It seems low. This doesn't
it's because that
show.
hasn't updated.
Yeah,
That's April.
It
Yeah,
doesn't show May. There's the number 4 there, my dude. So
yeah.
yeah,
The month isn't over. It's the 27th, guys.
there we go. Let's just go
Well,
the
yeah,
week view, and then
yeah,
that kind of
yeah,
trumps what you were saying. So
yeah.
yeah, I mean, I am waiting on it. I do believe the
Hmm.
doors are going to open. Because there's a price increase, I feel like it will do everything that the base does and be better at things. I want the assault because I've been doing a lot of engineering stuff. I've been doing a
Hmm.
lot of multi-crew things, and the idea of getting in a turret and actually defending yourself against light and medium fighters now is a thing. Well, it kind of is a thing. I
Yeah.
think there's obvious flight model issues that are going on, but for the most part, it is attempting to be a thing.
Hmm.
And if I'm going to use an ironclad, which I think of all the cargo ships that I've seen so far, again, like we said, it understands the assignment. So why would I use anything else? If I'm going to use this one, I want to be as defended as possible. So if
Hmm.
the doors open at the top, that's what I'm going with. If they don't, I'll go with the other one. Don't care which one I
Yeah.
end up
Yeah.
with, but I'm going to end up with the one that makes sense for me. So
Yep. I might wait to see what the deal is with the maintenance bay. And maybe get to like some more information on that because it's just a unique aspect of the ship that
I
we
mean, they
don't
literally
really
called it
see. So
a component fabricator.
yeah, so that could mean what, like 18 different things.
Yeah.
So
And it also, I mean, that sort of, I know, sorry, Croncy. I know we were going to try to
yeah, man.
lead the show a little bit differently today, and I'm kind of taking the
Yeah,
lead
it's
on
fine.
the direction we're going in, but I don't know how to not bring this up.
Hmm.
Star Citizen Live. This was the
Yep.
next moment of a comment that leads to what I was
Hmm.
talking about earlier, where
Sure.
um, Star Citizen can look like a game if they do this right, for me.
Hmm.
There was one tiny mention, if you guys didn't catch it. I will put it in Week in Review, so you'll actually get the clip in Week in Review this week. But
Hmm.
Torsten comes on. He's going through a whole laundry list of all the things that are going to be in engineering, and then
Yep.
in 4.0, and then said
Yep.
his stretch goal for it. Did you catch what it was?
I didn't catch the stretch goal.
Okay.
I was mostly focusing on the like that apparently like 2 days ago they had to knock off batteries, so
Okay,
that's
so
not
that
coming.
was the
But yeah,
negative. But
yeah,
literally 10 seconds before that, he said the
hmm
best thing I've heard about Star Citizen since 315 and looting and medical came in. We are working hard to create actual differences between civilian, industrial,
oh yes,
stealth,
yep,
and military components.
yeah.
Actual, meaningful, he used the words meaningful. He
hmm
said big differences, I think. That
He said something
is,
along the lines of like recognizable, so like it would
yep,
it would be easy for you to tell what
yeah.
what they were. Yeah,
Hopefully that means like UI stats and things like that as well. Those are things that we're missing pretty
possibly. Yeah,
heavily. Um,
yep,
that is that is one of the pillars for me to call this a game.
hmm
That because that
yep,
is what creates progression depending on how they decide to do it. Are they going to go
hmm
the same way they've gone with weapons? They're not going to be in the shops, things like that. That is one of my things that I need in the
yep,
game. And to hear
yep.
that was very exciting.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't bothered to change like a module on a ship other than weapons since 314. I think when they initially did all the changes to make everything like it
I
was
mean,
like
you
let's make
changed your
everything
QT
different.
drive, right?
Oh, sorry, and QT. Yeah, QT drive. But I never bother with the coolers. Like I never bother with any of that stuff just because there hasn't been enough of a difference between them for me to care
Hmm.
since 314.
Okay.
Um. So yeah, it's stuff we need.
Hmm.
Yep.
The other thing, because I'm seeing it in Twitch chat right now,
hmm
where I got confused completely was the
Yep.
ammo reloading thing.
Yeah. So he was talking about like yeah, they were looking at how they were going to do. It was specifically refuel and rearm, but he talked a lot more about the rearming. And that the specific wording was like you would be able to get if you have like size 3 Gatling ammo, that would also work for your size 2 repeater ammo and your size 1 repeater ammo. And from them saying that, that means my understanding is like, okay, does that just mean you will buy generic ballistic ammo? I know they're looking at having other ammo types, but does that mean like your size 4 and your size 1s will have the exact same ammo? Because
I
that's
have the
weird.
answer.
Oh, sweet.
And this thing has 9 upvotes, which is insane. He still doesn't have the dev tag on Reddit. Good job, Redditors. Too busy posting your fleet pics. There's the link in Twitch chat, Croncy. If you want to grab that and put that in YouTube
Yeah,
chat, that would be great. This is Torsten's account on Reddit.
yep.
Okay. So I have this, and he clarifies it because yes, it was actually confusing.
Okay.
This is actually what I wanted to say, but I misspoke. So yes, the idea is that weapons will share round sizes, so you as the player can choose which weapons to pack to reduce the amount of ammunition variances you need to pack. I could have explained it better with a concrete example, which he actually did give the concrete example. So, but anyway,
Mhm.
he gives basically the same example, but says a size 3 Gatling gun will use 70 millimeter bullets, but a size 2 repeater, there is a ballistic repeater. There's only one. That's
Yeah,
where
yeah.
I got confused. I didn't know that there was a ballistic repeater. There's only one. That will also use 70 millimeter rounds. And then you go up again in damage type, and you go
Yeah.
to cannons. That is a size 1. That's using a 70 millimeter round. This does not mean that a size
Yeah.
3 cannon will use a 70 millimeter round. It will use a bigger
Yeah.
round, therefore do more damage. So he clarified
That
it.
makes
That's
way
how it's
more
going to work.
sense. Yeah.
Yes.
That makes way more sense. It
9
also makes sense.
upvotes. What
Yeah.
are you doing, community? You're trash. Oh, I hate this community
And
sometimes, and this is why. Stuff like this.
true. I hate Torsten too.
I love
The
Torsten. Why doesn't anybody
it
else love him?
that makes a lot of sense. And also like because we watched it just before the stream, just
Yeah.
before the podcast. I 100% know exactly where he misspoke because he
Yep.
said your size 3 Gatlings will use your size 2 repeaters, will use your size 1 repeaters. So he just like missed up one word,
Yep.
and then that would have all made sense. So
Yep.
sweet. I like that then. That is actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because it still makes you have to think about what kinds of ammo you
A
want to
bunch
bring
of
in
guns
and
use
extend that.
5.56. A bunch of them use 7.62 in
Yeah.
FPS games. It's the same concept, but there
Yep.
are 2 different ammo types. You're not like a lot of people are like, I love the idea, SaltEMike, of just having ballistic ammo. Simplify it, man. Make
So
it simple for
boring.
me. Get out of here. That's boring. Yeah,
If you don't
it
think
goes against
this is simple,
everything.
like, yeah.
Yeah. It goes against
Anyway,
everything they ever thought of around
yeah, but like
coming prepared.
this is a this is a good thing of coming prepared because you've got variety. But I feel like it's also a really easy thing to understand, right? My size 3 small bullets go into size 2 medium bullets go into size 1 big. Like it's cool. I know how 3 minus 1 is 2, minus 1 is 1, right? So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I think that's it. Sweet. So when he mentioned this, was this for getting into 4.0, or was this a
This is
future thing? I missed that.
ooh, I don't know. I think this is
Okay,
a plan, not a 4.0 thing.
like
Good question.
okay,
I cannot remember.
okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, it may
I
just be
don't
like
think
an
that
exploratory thing.
this was a random Q&A question from Jared.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
was tilted because it started out with refueling. They never talked about refueling once.
Yeah. I think
They talked about
they spoke
refueling
for like 5
missions
seconds, but it
later.
was mostly this. Yeah.
They talked about with Elliot, which if Elliot
Yep.
makes a refueling mission, we just know it's not going to work, so it doesn't really matter. The the but as far as the actual function of refueling, I'm still so bummed at the place that it's in. Because
RIP
that was
317.1.
dude, it was to this day the best implementation of any feature I had ever seen from a UI standpoint. And these guys get shit on for their UI constantly. This one
Yeah.
was amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Like from every avenue, amazing. And it just, they never went, we have something good here. Let's build on it. It was so sad.
I wonder if it was literally just because like 4.0 kept getting pushed, right? Because it
I
was
don't know.
supposed to
It
be.
was supposed to be a pyro
We're
thing.
doing
Wait
this
for
because we're
pyro.
getting it ready for pyro. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait for pyro. That
Yeah.
was a. So, but yeah, I was bummed. I love refueling. Like the few times it worked, I was like, this experience is awesome. When I was on the panel, it was readable. It made sense to me. I looked at it. It was simple but complicated, and yeah, like the ability to set your sale price and everything. They just thought about everything the first try. How often have they ever done that, right? So yeah, it bums me out that it never blew up to the thing it could have been, right? People were talking about I'm going to be a fuel rat and all this stuff, and it's just like now your Starfarer just sits there and does nothing. So bummer.
Mike, I was hoping we would get through this Invictus, but like it was stability was decent. There's like this cool Drake ship and stuff. I was hoping we'd get through it without some drama, but the CIG said nah. Here you go. And we have some drama.
Yay.
Which I still feel very weird on, and I think I'm in a very like wait and see sort of situation. The Hornets, the Hornet Mark 1, which the Hornets have just been they've been the focus of like ship drama since what was it, December last year when they did the F8. So the Mark 1 is getting removed from the store. Great. Ship's getting removed from the pledge store. Big fan.
Yeah,
it is also getting removed from in-game stores. Oh,
weird. But just wait. Trust the people that have screwed up every event and have made it horrible since they've done events. No, I don't trust you yet. I will wait and see, like you are saying, but I'm not going to sit here and go, "Yep, confident in what you guys got planned for us." I don't.
Yeah.
But given everything they're saying, how do they tie a ship sale to this outside of what they're doing right now, which is FOMO garbage and stupid stuff?
You will get so they did the like, hey, look, this is going to be your last time to pledge. They kind of are forced to do that. They have to do that. I'm sure they were a little bit happy that they got to do a cool little sale thing, but you have to be like, hey guys, we are selling this. We are removing it from the store. The big thing for me that's like, well, there's two big things for me that like this whole situation is just strange. One is this feels like a weird way of remedying the like F8C drama that then became the Mark II drama of like these in-game earnable ships, where it's like, why did you do it this way? You know what I mean? Like the things that should have happened to the F8C and the Mark II are now happening to the Mark Is.
In a way, yeah. So it it could be they woke up from their slumber and realized that,
Mhm,
making ships available for only in-game purchase could be a good thing or something.
mhm,
I don't know, but the only thing that I want to like lean on you a little bit about is
mhm.
the idea that they had to do this. They didn't have to make the Mark II this way. They didn't have to. They could have
Oh,
upgraded the
no, no,
Mark
not like that.
One, all that
Yeah, that's not
stuff.
what I mean.
Just
That's not
just
what
to
I mean.
make
I
sure,
just mean,
just to
like,
clarify. That's all.
yeah, yeah. There was people saying, like, they are doing, like, the reason they are doing this sale is for XYZ reason. It's like, they were going to do this sale if they were going to remove the ship. If they didn't, there would be more uproar of people being mad that they couldn't pledge for the ship. Like, if it just got removed.
I
That's
mean,
what I'm saying.
would they like? What's Here's the thing that's crazy to me is
Mhm.
will the MK1 Hornets still get their gold standard pass and bug fixes? Okay, yes, the
Yep.
Hornet will still receive their gold standard pass. Good, fine, no issue there. The vehicle
Mhm.
will continue to be fully supported, meaning that vehicle related bugs will be fixed. There was also a balance question. Here it is. All ships available to pledge or not will continue to be tuned according to their role and function in the verse. The biggest cop out of all time for this ship, this is the part that makes it very weird, is what is the
Yep.
role of this ship now? It's literally a fucking collector's item. So all you're
Mhm.
going to do is have it sit in your hangar and do nothing because it is not effective as a fighter at all anymore because there is a better version of it. So why the hell would you ever use this? Right?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a, like, aspect as well of the that kind of just puts this ship in a shitty situation. Although, to be fair, Mark One owners that I've heard of don't care necessarily about this. Which is like, if it is a collector's item and all the people that have bought this over the course of the last however many years, if the ship is trash, that's just kind of bad. That's just real feel bad and it sucks and no one likes that.
But
But like I
that's what
said,
happens when you make
what
Mark IIs. That's the
it
negative
is,
side
it
of
is,
making
yeah.
a Mark II of a ship, right? The
Yeah.
Mark I has to be bad because the whole point is
Yeah.
I like Hornets,
Hmm.
so I have to buy the Mark II.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Mark II
Yeah.
will eventually be available in game, right? I have not purchased the Mark II. The Hornet is my favorite combat ship, always has been. I have not bought the Mark II. I will not buy the Mark II. I will get it
Yeah.
in game.
Yeah. Um, the other thing though was like, well, it's like, cool. Well, if you don't make it garbage, if at any point, because just the way that patches work, the way the balance works, the way that video games work, means that there is a world where the Mark One could be the meta ship at some point. If
Could
that
be.
happens,
Yeah.
could be. I don't think it ever will. I think they'll go
No.
more on the route of just making it bad, like deliberately.
Yep.
But if it ever was best for anything, then no one can get it unless this is a big unless the way that you can acquire it in game is not super hardcore. Oh, sorry, assuming it's in game at all, which it sounds like it's going to be.
It will be, yeah.
Um, yeah, as long as it's not super hard for everyone to get, then that will be fine. But like I also
Well,
said,
then is it a
most Mark
collector's
One
item
owners,
anymore?
yeah. Well, no,
Maybe it
it's
should be hard to
ish.
get.
Depends. When I say hard to get, I mean more specifically not random chance. And there was another one I was looking for, but like it needs to be tied to you being able to actually try to get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hope that it's like
Yeah.
a similar overdrive type chain that is something that actually changes and isn't a week by week event thing. Let me
Yeah.
jump in real quick though, because I'm seeing some people type
Mhm.
it in chat. In case you guys aren't aware and you're watching it on Twitch or YouTube right now, there is a new Discord that we made for Answer the Call. There's a lot of things we want to do to step the show up a little bit more. One of the things that we discussed is some of you guys don't want to get in voice. We want to take text messages from members and things like that. And the only way to do that is to avoid using my Discord, which is what we were using in the past. So this week, Croncy and I got together on Monday and we made an Answer the Call Discord. So, linking things to YouTube for YouTube members and stuff like that. Maybe we can somehow finagle away for like Croncy subscribers or something like that and not my subscribers, just simply because it's live on my Twitch channel already. So that's kind of silly in the first place. We can figure out some things, but I want to do something where we are taking some texts from people in the past.
Mhm.
I used to use Twitter for this when I did the show alone a long time ago. It would be really cool for Discord. If you guys want the invite link, !podcast on Twitch, Croncy will take it and throw it into the YouTube chat so you guys can get there, right? So we want to integrate you guys more in. We know getting on the show can be quite daunting, especially when I act the way that I did last week, things like that, right? It can be like kind of scary for some of you guys. So it'll be a lot better for us to take some texts occasionally. So a couple times a week, a couple times each show, I think we would like to do that. So just kind of trying to push that this week for you guys. I don't know if we're going to get to it in today's show, but that is the plan going forward for sure.
I will also just mention it's been really cool seeing the Answer the Call community, because it's becoming a bit of a fun community now.
Yeah,
actually like talk in the Discord.
It was hard to notice
and have discussions
that they existed, right? But now you can see them as like a community. It's kind of cool.
And they're so much better than our Twitch communities, Mike. It's crazy.
It's actually true. It's actually true. It's actually true. I have to say it.
So yeah, this is just a weird situation. This is strange.
Yep. And like you said, it's a wait and see situation. But they haven't given you any reason to be confident in their decision making on the wait and see just yet. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Oh, the green room's really full. That's my B. That's my B. I should have been slotting you guys in, and I haven't. And the waiting room is full now, so we won't be taking any more callers. There you go.
That was most of the week, I think, right? Like there was obviously those big Invictus things, like SCL. There was one thing I did want to mention just quickly from SCL, which was they intend for power plants to drain your hydrogen fuel.
Yeah.
I understand it. I don't know if I'll deal with it, but I don't think I like that necessarily. I feel like because power plants have health already, and because you're going to be using them in your like power assignments and stuff with the resource network.
Yep.
I don't know if they need an extra way to go dead, but yeah, I'll deal. I don't love that.
It makes sense because maybe you missed a little part of what he was saying. They want to use the same power plant system on bases, and it will not work if they do not have a fuel. So they went with it,
and like that's fair.
Yep. And then the other argument, like the question literally was asked, hey, all these ships that are just sitting around have endless shields that never go down. Can that not be a thing? And they were like, yes. So from a 1,000 years in the future, fusion energy would probably be figured out, and the idea of things running out of power likely would not be a thing. In a video game, it probably makes sense. Just a few quick ones. There's a few, if you guys are subscribers and things like that, you might be noticing that your helmets do not have what is it called? Combat visor?
Combat visor.
Yeah. So there's a message from Zach saying we're giving some helmets a second look, but for the most part, we have everything archetyped in a sheet. Some context that will make more sense in the future when more armor archetypes come online. He gets shit on in the thread saying, let me give the traditional in the future answer. And he shit on the guy back and basically was like, well, yeah, you're not going to get any answers from devs talking like that, dummy. So good job. But yeah, I mean, I largely agree with that. The in the future thing is difficult to hear because what does that mean? We've been dealing with in the future since 2015, and it's not really a good thing. But there is one other minor thing on that front is there appears to be what will be the next visor type that is that was shown as a sneak peek this week. So just touching on that. That's right there. We have a similar looking one in game. Don't know what this is. Looks racy. Looks combat-y.
Or like
looks
I was gonna say like maybe like scanny. It's giving off big scan vibes to me.
It could be a lot of things. I've read the text. It doesn't give away any information, so it's hard to say what it is, but this is clearly in line with what Zach is talking about there, right? One other thing, this is the last thing, is modularity Caterpillar stuff we talked about it Retaliator stuff we talked about last week, but
Mhm.
Caterpillar modularity was mentioned by John Crew this week, and
Mhm.
that is still planned to let you swap out individual pods. And getting into the next thing, this is the one thing that people were confused about because I saw it in a YouTube comment. You are not going to make it stubby, probably, and you're not going to be able to make it extra long. You are going to have your standard, I think, 5 modules, and that's all you're going to be able to deal with. You cannot
Mhm.
remove them, and you cannot add more. So you just swap from
So
in
they're
between.
permanently attached except for when you're like swapping out the modules, I guess.
Yeah, they're saying it's likely that's what they'll do, but
Yeah.
I personally am fine with that. I
On a
think.
on
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say on that a little bit because obviously we had the Caterpillar or the Iron Chad, whatever you know, it's Fatterpillar.
Iron
It's got
Chad,
17 different
Fatterpillar.
names. The command module appears to be visually exactly the same.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
I'm hoping that we get the ability to literally swap them, right? Move from the Caterpillar over to the Ironclad. Do you think they'll do it? It would just be such a cool feature that
It
no other ships have.
it falls in line with the original idea of what the Caterpillar was. It was an 18-wheeler,
Mhm.
right? And 18-wheelers are a truck that attaches to another thing, right? And yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
it looks so similar. It is weird to see it in this. Oh, can we quickly talk about this? People
Mhm.
do not get this. Read the bottom left of the screen. Concept mesh is not white box, people. This is
Yep.
not in development. It's not in development. Get that through your head. This is not
It's in
coming
concept
soon.
development.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They use this just to be like, hey, how does this look okay? How's the view here? And then build the concept using this. This
Yeah.
is not development of your ship that you want. They have done this with every single ship, and you guys still fall for it every time. The Galaxy had this. The Zeus had this. All of them had it before it was ever in active development. Don't fall for
Mhm.
this one, okay? Please do not fall for this one.
But what if it is though, Mike?
It would be great if it honestly if it was the next thing after they did the RSI ships, I wouldn't be disappointed. But do you know who would? People who bought other concept ships that should be made, right? So it's a really shitty situation that you got to draw a picture to be able to afford to make the ship that somebody already made, you know? So I don't fall for that one. You want to get the ship and you want to maneuver things around with some store credit, or you got extra money around. I'm not going to tell you what to do with your money, but don't fall for that you think it's coming soon, because it probably isn't, right? They pulled the whole this is going to make us help us make the Kraken better. Get out of here with that garbage. I'm so tired of hearing that stuff. It's true.
What do you mean? Like the Hull C helped us do modularity?
Okay, 5 years later.
That's what I'm saying.
You know, sure.
You finally got it last patch. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I know. But like, come on, man. It's like those are the bait things that I really hate that they do. So, Jared talked a lot about creating expectations and on SCL, the beginning of SCL this week, simultaneously on the same week as creating false ones for their community. So they'd buy a ship. Kind of sucks.
Cool. Shall we talk to some callers?
I love the
Let's
ship.
get into some callers.
I love the ship, but I will
ship.
never get off the fact that concept ships are bad. They're just bad.
Yeah. But once again, we've had like the least amount of concept ships these last 2 years than the previous years. It's going down. It's not zero. It's going down. They're slowing.
Ooh, I am deathly afraid that people aren't going to be able to talk in this. Before we bring in callers, I'm checking permissions right now.
Well, while you're doing that, remember, guys, you can join. You can join Answer the Call on the new Discord, which I am linking right now in YouTube chat. We're very full today, but we will have episodes like we had originally planned to have today, where if you're a member on YouTube, you get big priority and you get to talk about whatever you want. But
Yeah.
today, I guess we're going to be talking a bunch about Invictus, which makes sense. It's the big deal. So
Yeah. Maybe some patches. We'll see.
yeah,
Warbox. Warbot. Yeah.
Warbot, how you doing?
He is able to talk and everything.
Hello.
Yay! Everything
Howdy,
worked.
it worked.
Oh,
I did it right. I
yes,
did it
I am
right.
working. Yes, I am talking. You can hear me,
Sure can.
I think. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, what would you like to
Um,
talk about?
well, actually, you guys actually brought it up at the near end. I am happy that ships are being sunsetted finally.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was like a
From
weird
the
silver
pledge store.
lining, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
What I am not happy with is, of course, the communication behind it.
Classic.
Because and you talked about this, and that's actually one of the first things I've heard from you, Mike, and that's why I subscribed to you on YouTube. Was I want to see more ships exclusive to the PU to be earnable, to be purchasable, to be craftable. You know, start sunsetting these ships. Um, the one thing I the one thing I do disagree with you guys though is it's okay to have these ships in game and not work well, or like be kind of crap, because of course what a lot of companies do and countries do is they sell off their old tech to other places. So we may see NPCs or like be used as training fighters for like tutorials and stuff.
Yeah, this is a video
So
game.
yeah. I was gonna say
yeah, I
the
know.
problem with that is like that is a genuinely okay like lore reason to do it.
Hmm.
But in terms of like a customer and a gameplay perspective, it's not great. But the way that I see it is the only ships that should ever be bad are like tutorial intro ships. The only ships that
Yeah.
you should ever like it very much only sort of works with solo players that you should like actively upgrade from is tutorials, and then everything else should hopefully have some sort of a space there. I don't hate the idea of us having like cool retro ships, and in this particular case, if everyone's chill with it, fine. I just don't want to end up in a situation where that's happening to the mole and the constellation and the all these sort of other
Uh,
things. So it can be a little scary, but I don't know.
If you see
I'm
me
not, yeah.
laughing, somebody said it's time to sunset the Cuddy Steel. True. Get it out of here.
True. Best
yeah.
shipping game. Let me keep
Nobody
it
would be mad
as
if
a
that
vintage.
happened. And they could say your last chance all they want on that sale. Nobody's buying that thing.
I will say just
Hmm.
Warbot on your because you mentioned like yeah the communication was bad about it. In your opinion, if they had said a month ago we are going to sunset the Hornet at Invictus,
Hmm.
like do you think that would have gone a long way to maybe help the community be a bit more chill with it?
I would say yes. Well, that'll be a two-parter then, in my opinion.
Sure.
So if I was marketing slash community, whoever does the messaging here,
Hmm.
if I were in their shoes, I would have yes given them like kind of like when they change the prices, of ships, like here we're going to be raising the prices and all that. I would say yes, this ship is starting to going to be sunsetted the next Invictus. So so prepare your wallets for that one. But second is after that, I would say hopefully within that month you have enough time to tell us how will this ship be, how will this ship be obtainable in game,
Yep.
or how will it appear in game? Because they just left it at, oh, there will be chances in the future. It's like, okay, so chance in the future could mean anything. This could mean
Yes.
it'll
Well,
pop back as a store as a collectible, you know, limited stock ship again or something.
Yeah.
so
That's
so
one thing
is
I
what
was.
you're saying, do you just want them to have their shit together a little bit more of like if you're going to sunset this thing, you need to have the event planned already so you can explain it to people how you're going to get it?
Yeah, if for the future or something like that, like give a heads up, and then that should give you enough time when the sunset happens. You can at least tell them that, or tell them
Mm,
at the same time at least,
yeah.
hopefully,
Yeah,
Yeah.
this
because
this
I
wait and
was
see
happy for
shit.
sunsetting.
Yeah.
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 The wait and see stuff
Like
is just silly.
the first day because the specific language on the page is just like it will be attainable again, and it doesn't get any more specific than that.
Yeah.
That got me very concerned. And then I saw like Xylo respond to a tweet from I think it was Space Tomato that was like, "You're gonna like how to attain it." And so it wasn't until then that I was like, "All right, so it's
I
gonna
hate
be
that
in
stuff.
game. It's gonna be in game." But like, why did you not say that yesterday? Because like
Also, what if I don't
that's
like it?
what was
Yeah.
annoying me. You know?
Also, what if I don't like it?
Yeah.
I'm sure they
No,
thought we
you'll
were
like
gonna
it,
like.
Mike.
I'm sure they thought we were gonna love the F8 and the Mark II as well, right? Come
Yeah.
on, that's silly.
Yeah, because like I want to know, is it something at the end of a quest chain? That's cool. You find Daddy's
Sure.
old Hornet in the garage.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Even if it
Yeah.
like ends up being the replacement of like squadron reward or something, like
Mhm.
all the different variants, I think that sort of stuff would be fine too. But I
Yeah.
would have preferred that they specifically in the brochure were like it will be attainable not by paying money. It will be attainable by some other way that you'll enjoy or whatever, rather than just you'll be able to get it, don't worry about it. It's that
Dude,
was weird.
hmm
what if it's this is super copium. What if it has like what if they go down the line of like oldest ships have old signatures and that they're hard to see on radar or some dumb thing like that? I don't know. Like the biggest
ultimate
thing that I
pirate ship.
struggle is what me and Croncy were talking about. The ideal of balancing a ship that is intentionally supposed to be bad in comparison to its
Mm.
its successor is just a how do you come out winning here as a Hornet MK1 pilot? You
Well, that's the
don't.
thing. I
Yeah.
think
You
a lot
don't.
of people, they come out winning because they like this. They like that they have a unique
But it's not
item.
it's
And
not unique in my mind. It's a ship that's been sold for 12 years. So
yeah, no, not for
what's
us.
unique
Not
about
for
it?
us. Yeah.
Maybe 10 years from now it will be kind of thing. I like
Mm.
that idea.
Mhm.
Sort of, but outside that, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, one thing you can say claim is that this is the ship that Chris Roberts sat in the day the day we saw this game.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
If you have a F7A Mark 1, yeah. Right? That's what I think that's what
Yeah.
that one is the A
Yeah.
because it's a military one or whatever. But
Yeah.
it's going to be
Mhm.
weird. This is a very sticky situation and they have to get it right
Yeah.
because they have to
Yep.
keep doing this with future ships.
hmm Yeah, I mean, there's already talks of the Aurora might
they
be
don't
getting a
have to.
Mark II.
Who's talking
I
about
feel
that besides us speculating?
Yeah.
I don't
we're
think
the
they'll
only
ever
ones
do that
talking
with
about it.
like with new player ships. I don't think that'll
I think
happen.
they should.
And if it does, whatever. It's new player ships.
I think
like I
that's
said, I don't care what happens to them.
Oh, dude, I think that is the most
Oof.
important thing because they have redefined what a starting ship is, and those ships actually don't make sense anymore.
Uh,
The Aurora
Mm.
and the dude, you cannot argue for an Aurora and a Mustang right now over a Avenger 100i. Every other starter ship that came after them, again, it's the idea
Oh,
of
sure.
understanding the assignment
yeah.
of what a starter ship needs to be, right? You have a little bit of cargo, you have a little, like they just
Yep.
have the functionality that a player who plays Star Citizen wants to have. So
Yep.
if there's anything that gets Mark II'd, it's got to be those two ships, in my opinion, right? That's just me, but
Yeah, sure.
that's
That's what I'm saying. I think that'd be fine.
yeah, it's a super positive Mark II. But again, if you're forcing players who have just the starter ship to buy those are the two.
Then it's an issue.
Yeah, then it's an issue. Those are the two that I really hope that you just get a $0 upgrade to, that you apply to it in your
Yeah.
hangar and you're done. Because you should not be playing Star Citizen in an Aurora or a Mustang. However fun it is to do so, I love the Aurora. I am the biggest Aurora fan there is. But we have redefined what this game is at this point, and
Yeah.
mhm.
it is what
Sorry,
it is.
Warbot.
And,
We took over your entire call.
No, not,
we'll give you
not
some
at
more
all. I
time.
love hearing it. But I don't know if, and just a quick feedback, I don't know if it's my end or not. For some reason, you guys are cutting out for me in Discord, but I can hear you fine in the YouTube video.
I mean, we hear each other, so that's got to be your end.
Yeah.
Yeah, it must be my end. All right. And then I guess I'll do my last point then,
Yep.
because there's I can't see who the other colors, but I'm sure there's a lot since you said they're full. But the last thing I am a little worried about is, of course, I don't know if it's you or someone else. Is that like, yeah, the longer a ship takes to come out, the better it's going to be. I'm actually starting to see this effect now because literally, the ironclad Chad, Caterpillar, everybody that I've talked to like are now going like, do I want my C2s anymore? Do I want my M2s anymore? Literally, it's a $5, change up from the M2 to the ironclad assaults now.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think at the very least, in terms of like the reason why this was a good ship for them to make is because they have a better understanding of what players want, I think.
And
So
how
it's
we
like the
interact
people
with
that
their game.
exactly, and how we interact. So it's like the people that wanted a C2 because it was the best atmospheric trader in literally just in terms of how much cargo it had. Of course they would prefer this, So like there may still be bonuses to the C2, but a lot of those people are going to prefer to use this other vehicle. Now, luckily, most of them can just melt it and buy it, so they don't have to super invest any extra money or anything.
Yeah.
But I think that's kind of like what Mike was saying. It's just it's a symptom of them understanding the player base and what the game actually is.
It's
now,
not
a
overly
lot more.
negative.
Yeah.
It is not the classic. It is because it's super power creep, but it is not entirely a bad thing.
Yeah.
It is a majority good thing, and then you have CIG marketing garbage stuff like how much better it is than other ships in terms of how much cargo, blah 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 blah. You get that in there, but just from the general design, if this had 696 SU of cargo or whatever the exact 600 and something that is in the C2, this still would be the best cargo ship in the game.
Yeah. And I am also very excited now that they finally are, if it is starting to feel like a game. I am seeing a lot more people recognizing it as a little bit more than a tech demo. It's still tech demo, but
Slightly.
it's more gaming than tech demo.
Yep.
Even from outsiders. But back to the thing though, there is one more ship that is in that $400 price range that I do hope they apply what they learned. From 10 years of watching us become the greatest testers ever, is the Genesis Starliners.
I melted mine.
I do hope
that's what the ship is going to become.
Gotcha. Then they make a better version of Genesis Starliner.
You see them making that anytime soon? I don't.
They've tried to reprioritize it a bunch of times over the last couple of years, and it keeps getting pushed. So someone's fighting for it, but it keeps not happening.
Yep.
Jared is the
All
only
right,
one.
then.
Yeah,
Jared and all the people who bought it. Yeah.
Yep. So I do hope they clarify that opening roof. I want to hear more about the fabrication. As you know, as soon as I hear crafting, I am all board.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right then. I don't want to take any more time, and thank you so much for having me on the call, and thank you all for your doing, and hopefully Gravlevs get into a better place, and that's actually my last point.
Yeah, hopefully, because dang,
hopefully
we could talk for another 2 hours about that. All right, War.
Yep. Cheers, Wobot.
Yeah, man, dude, the Gravlev feel not good, and on SCL they said they don't know what the problem is.
Quick thing about that. So we had the finals of the S7. Like obviously you got to do a bunch of the Gravlev today, but we had the finals of the System 7 at the same time. You've got to do 4 different vehicles across the. It's like a relay type thing, which is very cool. But the last section is Dragonflies, and anyway, so 3 teams finished out of 14. Almost all of them died. I think barred like maybe 2, all of them died in the Dragonfly section. It's just so rough.
Ugh. Yeah.
Yep.
That's not good.
Anyway.
All right, let's get to our next caller.
Yep.
Riley,
how you doing? Riley,
one more time.
Going? Riley, say nothing if we're the coolest Star Citizen podcast.
All right, Riley going once, going twice. Sold. All right, let's bring in Moldan.
Moldan, I know you.
He just unmuted. And Riley just came back, so we'll try again with Riley after.
Yep. Molden, how you doing?
No.
Hey, what's up?
Oh, there he is. Okay, I was going to say everything was working so good. We're back.
So, I was gonna start with the ammo reload thing, but you guys talked about the Liberator, so I think I have a way to start with it and go into ammo reload.
Cool.
Okay.
So that post on Reddit with the Liberator, it had a lot of tanks, but the amount of tanks that were placed there was the CIG copium amount, where they just placed them as close as possible to each other. Like if you look at the presentation of the Liberator, they say it's 3 vehicles, I think, 3 ground vehicles, and it's like 3 extra large ground vehicles. So they mean the Nova by that. And obviously it's not like 8 overall, but yeah, that's just my point towards the Liberator still having like its own place. And the Liberator is supposed to have a feature I've not seen at any other ship. It's the automated PDS turret. Like I guess it's not gonna be controlled by anyone. Like it's gonna be AI by default, which is.
I mean, they could do, right? It essentially,
We'll
like we have, when you steal an Idris, the AI are technically automatic and they'll shoot at whatever's red. So, I mean, essentially, it's just the same thing. So, but like the question will be if that actually happens or not.
Yeah, and it's also a like point defense turret, which means it's not gonna fire against ships. It's gonna be more against like projectiles. So it's gonna be different, definitely. And yeah, so this kind of is
trying to fix the waiting room.
Also, the Ironclad is listed as being capable of repairing large vehicles, just vehicles. It doesn't say ships. The Liberator has 3 spots where they specifically say that it's for small ships. So there is a chance that if we have automated repair, the Ironclad is not going to be able to repair the ships. It's just going to be the vehicles.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Even with that respect, like it also seems like whatever the deal is with that maintenance bay is going to be the relevant part there, right? Like because it could literally just be, we have put a workbench for you to put some tools on, and we've put a little bit of storage here for you to get some modules out, and that's it. We don't know how like heavy that goes, right? So
yeah, exactly. Like how like manual it's gonna be. Because if it's gonna be manual, then you can repair any ship you want as long as it fits in the hangar. You just don't care.
Exactly.
And this is kind of leads into the armor reload feature, because like unless they do some very like like the way they did with like the initial implementation of the hull munching, where it was simplified like hand wavy magic stuff, unless they do that with ammo, where you just like, I don't know, go up to the gun that you want to reload and just attach a container, then that becomes invisible because it just reloaded. This is gonna take definitely past 4.0, definitely past engineering, because they have to remake almost every single ship to add this.
Yeah.
Every multi-crew, I guess.
Yeah. Like, and even then, how are you gonna reload the single seaters?
You can't probably.
Maybe you won't. Yeah, maybe.
Or external,
no,
like land and do it externally.
Yeah, the way that they talk about it, you would still be doing it by hand. But
so you ready?
Yeah, because
you want me to like calm your fears down slightly? The
Go ahead.
between one patch, the Reclaimer, between 2 patches, the Reclaimer went from doing nothing to creating 1 SCU boxes to creating from anywhere between 1 and 16 SCU boxes. It's not that hard to make something where you put a box in and it reloads something.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, that's just like they said, they have 140 ships in game. They need to go over each one. That's like, and we just talked like maybe the single seaters won't be able to. I'm sure, for example, the Inferno will be able, because there's like a whole discussion where a whole portion behind the gun is a ammo reloading thing. So
can I calm you down again? They may have, over the course of the last 2 patches, been working through every single ship in the game to put resource network on it.
That would be great. I mean,
so if they could do that, theoretically, this is just another resource to network.
Yeah.
So it might not be as bad, But I am in agreement. It's a lot of shit to do, obviously, right?
Yeah.
But they seem to be doing a lot of shit lately in comparison to the last 5 years. So is it that doomy? I'm less doomy than you in this case.
It's just I still feel like it's not going to be that as soon as people might be hoping it would be. I still feel like there's work to be. I mean, they did say it was, and at this point it's 2 months ago now, or they did say in a monthly report that they already had 10 ships ready with the resource network. So they are making progress at a really fast pace. It's just,
I mean, also you and I have done a lot of engineering. Define ready. So there's
yeah, obviously that's true. And it's just I hope that when it does get forced into the game, when I say forced, it's that everyone will be forced to interact with it. It's not gonna it's gonna be a thing you can ignore or you choose to use it. It's definitely gonna be forced upon everyone. I hope that as much ships as possible are gonna support it, because it's either gonna be the ships with engineering are gonna suffer, or the ones without it are gonna suffer. It's never gonna be both of them are gonna be fine. It's unless they make it, or every single ship makes it in with 4.0 with engineering, which is, I don't know. I'm not ready to hope that much, Copium.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's necessarily Copium to think that, because it only really matters for the large ships. The small ship, like, what does engineering mean for a Gladius? Almost nothing.
I mean, it could mean a lot because all their components are really close to each other, but it's.
I mean, in terms of like things that they have to alter on the Gladius, I imagine would be quite small. If
there might be an engineering panel on it, you never know. But what do you do?
That would be interesting.
You know, like turning components on and off through that way. I mean, we have. What will likely change is your power panel will change to an engineering panel, and that's about it.
Yeah,
probably.
Right?
Yeah, you would just have an MFD with
just a new MFD.
You'll
most
see
likely.
all of them.
Yeah, the big thing that I'm like, how are they going to get that in by 4.0 is like the fire propagation and the rune system actually working. That feels incredibly optimistic to me.
Me too. And they seem confident about that one.
Yeah, very, very, very confident about that. So yeah.
Croncy, one of your favorite ships, has a real big problem with that. The Valkyrie does not separate the cargo space from the living space at all. It's just railing.
It is a big ass room, yeah.
That is true. Just don't open the doors in space. Easy dub.
But is there the whole ship?
No, there's a bottom area
pilot is separated.
where the pilot's separated, and then there's a bottom area with the jump seats. That's separated as well.
I thought the pilot, you just go up a ladder.
No, there's a door.
There's a door.
Okay, then that's okay.
But yeah,
but all of your turret, the remote turret operators, and everything in the living space is just vented immediately.
Just don't go to sleep in space. Easy solution.
Easy.
That's interesting. I hadn't thought of that.
It's there's a scene in The Expanse where they are like in the beginning where they're captured and they're kept in a closed area, and the ship gets in a fight, and there's a projectile that penetrates the whole ship, and it also penetrates the area where they are, and it starts venting. And every time I think about it, I think about that scene. I'm like, okay, this is yeah.
Can we talk about how the Valkyrie is like one of the worst ships in the game, and everybody loves it?
How dare you?
It looks cool.
I mean,
great ship.
It looks
fantastic
cool.
Ship.
There's so much potential, but there's I don't know. It suffers from a lot of stuff. Yeah.
People always forget how many turrets that thing has. That has so many guns.
Yeah, that's true, but
it's great.
It can be melted in
like
seconds.
2 seconds. Yeah, it's fucking worthless.
Just melt them first. No,
it's like
I do love my Valkyrie, but it's in a bad state.
It's beautiful, but it's like attaching turrets to a paper airplane. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. And although for some reason, sometimes if you have a good performing server, the Valkyries just become crazy and they just melt you instead of you melting them. They just start doing some weird maneuvers, and those turrets do matter. Like they do apply a lot of damage. It's just, how often does that happen for you as a player who's controlling that ship and screwing it? So
yeah.
Okay, well, that's as much as I wanted to.
Right when we were like, all right, it's time. Everybody seems to know at this point. This is good. All right, Moldan.
Yeah.
Let you go, dude. Great call.
Yep. Yeah.
And I was a little bit in my. If you guys looked at me, I'm not in my phone like looking at Twitter or something. I was trying to resolve an issue with the Discord channels. I think I got it. So we're bringing Riley back. Riley, can you hear
hello
us?
again.
My mic works this time,
Hey.
right?
Yay!
Yes, it
yeah,
does.
we got it.
Howdy.
I feel so stupid.
No, that
Ah,
wasn't you. That was actually me. So don't feel stupid.
So first off, how dare you talk bad about the Valkyrie, our beloved?
But are you just talking about the way it looks?
Purely the way it, like I
Yeah,
wanted to
it's
perform
beautiful.
well, but when it came out and the storm didn't fit on it, I genuinely like my brain exploded.
I mean, it's fair.
But no, onto like actual things. The Liberator versus the Ironclad, I guess, topic that everyone's talking about. It's really not as comparable as people want to make it sound. Because the Liberator is definitely something you'd more so deploy like forward, whereas I feel like the Ironclad is more like the rearward base that you repair your stuff, you retrofit it, like all of that stuff.
Yeah, plus the Liberator isn't like, it has cargo capacity. It is not a cargo ship, if that makes any amount of sense. It is a ferry. It is
Well, the
there
cargo
just
capacity is
like-
on the sides, right? The cargo
That's
capacity isn't in the
underneath.
center. Yeah,
underneath.
like underneath on
Yeah,
the side, like it's meant for like repairing
Yeah.
and that kind of stuff.
They sort of talk about it like that,
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think people just saw like a ship that has a lot of cargo that is atmosphere and were like, hey, look, they're the exact same ship.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely the biggest issue that's come into that. And also, the rounds used for different guns, I think a good example you can find in real life is, I mean, a 50 cal. You have a Barrett 50 cal that fires like semi-automatic or like bolt action, and then you have a 50 cal like machine gun that you see on tanks.
Yep.
And it's like one's definitely more effective at killing things than the other, but they use the same round.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was just the way he said it that I got confused. And the first thing that I was like, again, I never even knew we had a ballistic repeater because ballistics were just in a place that it was like, why would you use them? Laser repeaters all the way. So yeah, just I was like, is he talking about laser? Like, what is he talking about? And
when you said there was a ballistic repeater, I was like, no, there's not. And then I had to look up on
so did
DPS
I.
check, and I'm like, oh,
Nope, there's one.
there's a ballistic repeater.
Oh yeah.
No one uses it because it's bad, but
Yeah.
And the Mark 1 versus Mark 2 for the Hornet, I think it's totally okay for the F7 Mark 1 to be like 5% worse than the Mark 2, because most people that are flying these ships genuinely are not good enough to make that difference like actually matter.
I mean,
Is that not worse though? Then,
like,
I feel like you want to be good enough to make the difference matter. You want to be good enough to make it so that 5% doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
It's very hard to see right now with the Mark II in the state that it is. Because
oh yeah, the Mark II is
let me tell you something. I had like nobody can see this, but I am going to change. You know that little icon next to your names now?
Mm-hmm.
That's mine when I'm in Arena Commander. It's a very mad face, and the title says "Fighting Mark IIs" because it is awful, dude. It is awful. I unfortunately, because streaming, the moment I go into an Arena Commander, all of a sudden you hear beep 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 beep, and then red icons flying towards you. So I play on an alt now, and my alt doesn't have any ships on it, so I don't have access to the ships that I have. So I don't have a Mark II. Well, I don't have anything. So I just have a REC purchased Buccaneer, and trying to use that against, you're just dying 2 seconds. It's so brutal. So you have to play this like horrible play style. It's really boring. It's ruined the game in a lot of ways. The just bug that's there. I know they want to fix it, but yeah, it's hard to understand the point you're trying to make currently, right? Because it's not 5% better, it's 500% better. So it's like, super weird.
I think it's like in the future, I guess, would be more so what I'm looking at, because right now the Mark II, I mean, I was talking in the Shadow Moses Discord, it's hilarious to watch like Virgil get into it or like Fresh as Ice get into it. It's like, oh man, this guy just obliterated like 5 people in like 30 seconds.
It's not fair.
Yep.
There is nobody not in a Mark II that is 20-0 in the lobbies. Right? I am so happy with my kill to death in my last run yesterday. I went 8-5 in the Buccaneer. And all 8 kills were on Mark IIs, but I was sitting there like a rat waiting for their shields to go down, and then and I was like, yes, gotcha. You know, and then I ran away. I was like hiding in a corner in space.
He's exfil camping, but like in the open space.
Yep. Yeah, everyone can see me, but I was just sitting there waiting.
Yeah. And I actually didn't realize the Hercules, like, I definitely understand where it seems like the Hercules is just outclassed, because it's like, what, it's 600, 700 CCUs, the difference between these two things?
Oh, we'll see
so it's
on
696
that POV.
versus 1500.
That POV can change completely by mid next week. It all comes down to how they are dealing with cargo going forward. You're not taking your C2 down to a small outpost and like think of Pickersfield right now. You're not going there with a C2 and filling 600 SU cargo anymore. It sounds like they want to make that not possible. So it we'll see on that front if we're looking at ships solely based on more cargo equals better.
Yep.
So I'll hold you up on that point a little bit until we know, but your point is 100% valid at 323.1, right?
Well, also, beyond that, just being the SUs, everyone who's flown a Caterpillar knows, no one likes flying a Caterpillar. That thing is so heavy.
You take that back. You take that back.
Like, I remember
that thing is funny to drive around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it for Invictus Flight Week. I think last year was the first time I flew it, and I had been coming from flying the C2, and I'm like, what is this? Why can't I get off the ground? Like, you're fully laden, and you're just like, why do I have to boost to get off the ground on this planet?
I love it. Oh, just
meanwhile,
to
the
jump
C2
in,
is just like...
Everybody who's in the green room right now, we're not taking any more callers because we're going to go way over time, especially because Space Cutlet's the last caller. So we're putting a timer on his ass because he's been a regular on this show, and we know what's coming.
Yeah, and then I guess one last point is a lot of people were freaking out when they saw it's like, oh my god, the Ironclad has 4 size 3 shields. How are we possibly going to deal with this? And they don't realize that what Sig's been saying in like the background on some of the posts is that a lot of shields are going to be redundant shields. So you choose between what components you have active. So if you have all 4 of those shields up, you lose guns, you lose life support, you lose gravity, stuff like that. So I really don't think
lots of implication with engineering and how that'll affect.
Yep.
Those sorts of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's it.
Yep.
Cool.
Pleasure talking to you guys.
Of course.
Yeah, awesome. We appreciate it a ton. It was a great call.
Yep. Everyone.
All right, Riley. Great one.
Riley.
I know. Riley came in and was like, I'm such an idiot, or like feeling embarrassed. It's a great call. Our next caller is Gamers Cafe. This is actually who I was talking to while we were talking, because he was helping me be like, yes, I can do this, and no, I can't do that. So we're trying to get all the permissions feeling right. All right, gamers.
How you doing, gamers?
How you doing?
Not bad. Yeah, so just very quickly, I can't see any room unless you drag us into them.
I like that.
So,
idea. That's my preference, but yeah. You sit in your little waiting room by yourself.
Mike, you were supposed to be the chosen one to not buy the Ironclad.
I didn't.
He hasn't yet.
I didn't buy it, and I'm not spending any money on it.
I was going to come on the show tonight, and I was going to stir you and just throw out like Ironclad, like subliminal messages, and see if I can get you to buy it. And you, anyway.
What are you getting commission from CIG?
Yeah.
No, I just like stirring, Mike. That's all.
I didn't buy it yet.
Yeah, I'm just.
But I'm definitely not spending a dime of any, not spending any actual money on it. It's not happening.
Yeah.
So
this is a store credit multi one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I said to people that because I made a video about it, that if anybody actually wanted to did buy it with LTI, just buy the Pulse and then use your store credits to bump it up to the CCU, which is the Ironclad, and that way you still get the LTI with your store credit.
Wait, it doesn't. But, you don't get LTI with store credit.
No.
I don't. I've never looked at insurance once.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's a fleet owner type of thought process for me. I never looked at that.
Yeah. I do wonder if it's going to like impact in the future, because like especially now with it being harder to make money, that if you have all these ships with all these insurances, is it just going to bog you down? Where if you have the LTI, it's like you have to worry about paying for it. That's simply my sort of idea behind it. But yeah,
Yep, which is why they continue to sell LTI, even though the day before I backed Star Citizen, there was a post saying this will be the last day that LTI exists in the game. And then everyone went, no! So they were like, got them! And we're going to take advantage of people thinking it's something that it isn't. When they continuously said LTI, the example that was given, and again, everything will change and everything has changed. The example that was given is if you've ever played Privateer, you would land at a station and you wouldn't even notice that they deducted funds from your account as landing fees. It was like barely anything. That's what insurance was always meant to be. But when we look at the current day, which seems like it's already changed, the expedite thing plays a role. But what you have in game right now is LTI. Everybody has what LTI will be in the game right now. Barely an expense to get your ship back, a high expense to expedite it.
Yep.
So,
And I will say, getting onto the Valkyrie for a split second, love the ship. She is sexy as God. I don't want to swear, so I don't want to get demonetized, but it's sexy.
Well, I've sweared enough today.
That's right. But she is way overpriced. My biggest problem with the Valkyrie is she's overpriced.
How much is it?
That's
like
that good old dropship tax.
Yeah, she's like 670 or something, I think.
Oh, you're Australian. You're Australian, so that's like $12, right? How much is it in freedom money?
Yeah, it's like $375. There is a dropship tax that exists, which I imagine is just how many seats. I know, it's crazy. It's like, how many seats does it have? Let's add like $25.
I don't
for
get
each
it,
seat.
dude.
That is the weirdest thing. Of all, like, prices for like all CIG ships are always weird, but drop ships are the strangest by far.
Yeah, so she's 375, Warbond 350. Yeah, so sorry, I must be looking at the Australian conversion. But yeah, she is a beautiful ship. But this is what I was telling you when we were talking about it last week. I was saying, or the week before, I was saying about the ships that don't have these doors that separate living spaces, and I was mentioning the Prospector. It's exactly the same thing with that. If you open those side doors, by oxygen, and especially if they're talking about bringing in like O2 canisters that you're gonna have to fill and use those to pressurize a ship. Like, can you imagine?
They'll just have more or bigger ones on this one, would be my guess. Would be like, but design flaw, therefore we countered it with this. I don't think they want it to be like
shields.
Maybe that as well could be a thing, because like we have those in our hangars, right? That's a better solution, to be honest. But then that's pretty OP compared to other ships, no?
Yeah, true.
So
but
it's
I'd
like,
say that things like the
do?
Prospector, like you literally go from airlock to like internal door within like 2 steps.
Yeah.
So it's a problem that they're going to have to sort out. Engineer 3.23.2. I am so excited. Like, come on, CIG, let's bring this on. I was playing the game the other day, yesterday actually, and today. And I salvaged a whole bunch of components from a Drake cutter, and then was salvaging the cutter. And I had the components in the back of the ship in the Vulture. And I was just like, I long for the days where you can just simply walk up to an elevator, put them in the elevator, hit a button, and then it just magically goes into your inventory. And that's what this 3.23.2 is going to do, is that stuff. And that to me is just
how about miners, Croncy and I, things like the bags become like, it opens up a lot of new gameplay. My org loved to do gun running. I talked about this a lot. We have an org account, and we have multiple people that can access that account. So our org hangar could be open to members of our org well, not 24 hours a day, but as many hours of the day as there is somebody in leadership online. Like, there's so many like little avenues of gameplay that this opens up. Oh, I never changed the name of the caller. I saw you guys typing caller. My bad.
But that's right. You can call me Riley. But also, I was going to say, but at the end of the day, just even like going through mining a whole bunch of stuff, putting it into your hangar, and then like when they do these missions where like, hey, we need like 10 kilos of iron, and you'll be like, great, I've got that in my hangar. I can go bring that down in an elevator, throw that into the back of my C1 or whatever it may be, and fly it over, and I've got that on hand.
Oh, can we talk? That's one thing we didn't talk about. They talked about mining missions this week.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Like, you want to take a moment together, the three of us, and talk about that for a second? Because
sure.
Yeah, I think
I don't think it was very.
I think we're all miners, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think it's interesting because the way Elliot described it is not the way I envisioned it necessarily, because he made one minor interesting comment of like, we could go and buy it, but mining is very different than commodities. There's raw ore, and then there's the commodity ore currently. So what are they doing with that? And then Gamers Cafe just mentions the idea of like storing your ore in your hangar for a while, getting a mission, and doing that.
Stockpiling it.
Yeah, stockpiling and things like that. Obviously, if you were to go and buy a raw resource, it would be significantly less profit for you to complete that mission. But it's very exciting. I'm very excited.
Sure.
That's
the thing, right? You could literally be sitting there and a mission pops up saying, like I said, well, we need 10 kilos or 100 kilos of iron. And you'll be like, hey, great, I've already mined that, stockpiled it in my A hangar or B base in the future. And it'd be like, sweet, yep, no, accept that. I'll get that to you within an hour, and you just simply take it out of your reserves. And then when you've got free time, you can be out mining and stockpiling that and throwing it back into your base and just constantly repeating it, just rinse and repeat.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm really looking forward to. Apart from that, obviously the next big thing is obviously the 4.0 with server meshing. God, can we please get server meshing in? I was so impressed with how Invictus was running this week until I tried to do a mission when the Ironclad came up for sale, and basically the servers had an aneurysm and died.
Yeah, just everything. I did hear that, like everything RSI related just collapsed.
It was wild.
Like missions were like waiting like 15 minutes to come through. You'd turn up and they'd be like waiting, and you'd be like, can I get a deck of cards? And then like the ship would finally pop in, and then you'd be like, great, I can start salvaging. And then you'd realize that the salvaging is also tied to the server performance, and you're like, oh. I think I ended up losing 20k because I tried to do a mission and I just couldn't do it. And I was just like, yeah. But anyway.
I had an interesting thing happen today. I was salvaging the panels, and I had a recovery happen. The panels stayed right in front of me. They actually duped themselves. There was double. But I thought they were going to disappear. They didn't.
Do you think they're going to... Yeah. You've sort of mentioned this before. You think they're going to do a wipe for 3.2, 3.2?
I think they need to.
Yeah.
Will they? They might just wait for 4.0 and say, fuck it. We'll see.
Like, the little space trucker part of me that's been grinding out money and got to 183,000 already is just like, no, please don't wipe. But then, like, seeing all the ships over at Area 18 at the moment, they're just parked there because of the duping, and you're like, wow, this is a massive problem.
Yeah.
I tried to sell materials for salvage for the past 2 days, and I would fly from one station to the other station to the other station, and I could not sell it. I still could not sell the construction materials and the resource materials. I think I ended up jumping four different locations. End up staying, I think it was at New Babbage, and then just constantly going back and forwards to the machines over and over and over, just waiting for it to reset. It was absolutely insane, and that's all just because of dupers and stuff.
Yep. Orison, I've had no problem. That's where I've sold, and I've never had an issue there once. But other people said they couldn't, so who knows?
And I found nowhere that would sell the construction materials. That only place, like, it was like $1 or $6 or whatever it was for a box, and that was it.
Yeah.
And it was like, I've literally broken up an Arrow. And I've made... Sorry?
Admins buy them.
Yeah. But the places where they were buying it was like $6 for like a SCU, and it was just, it was like I've like, don't get me wrong, I got my money back on the resource material, on the other, on the, not the construction material, the scraping. I got my money back on that, but the actual the construction material was just an absolute waste of time because the money was just overinflated. But anyway, I will jump in, but because I know you've got a whole bunch of people, and
it's all good.
Yeah,
we appreciate it, and we'll let you go, and then we got our last caller coming up. So good call, gamers, and I'm as excited about the hangers as you are. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm looking forward to it.
All right, bro.
See you guys.
Catch up. Bye now. All right, and our final caller, Space Cutlet. What's up, dude?
Cutlet.
Yo, what's up? It's the end of the show, guys. Bye. Cheers.
That is the shortest
Right.
Space Cutlet
I honestly don't know what I'm doing
appearance.
Yeah,
What
I
are
don't know
you
what
doing
I'm
here?
doing here. I was chilling in a Discord, and then you called me out that I'm gonna queue. I was like, what? Wait.
You didn't hear me moving
I was like
you back and forth
doing
through
my
channels?
stuff, like talking to my wife, and then I realized I'm with you guys. Okay, whatever. Let's go.
You
What do
didn't
we
hear
do
that
here?
I was
We're
moving
discussing.
What do you want
Yeah,
to discuss?
no, I didn't hear it because I was like headphones off and all that, and then I realized I'm gonna queue.
What do you want to discuss? We were talking about all things that are
I
going
have
on.
no idea what I want to discuss. I heard you guys talking about the mining stuff. I want to deviate from the mining stuff to the mining stuff, but to a little bit of a different mining stuff.
Go for it.
Sure.
What?
Everyone forgot about the ROC mining, by the way, and it's not on site.
I forgot about it when it got released.
It's my favorite mining.
Yeah, it's my favorite mining too. Hey, totally not on topic. Just remember that I want to. Maybe some devs are listening and yada yada. That's been totally abandoned. Had no progress over the years. Basically, we have a wonderful Rock DS everyone memes about, right? And we had missions coming in like Wake of the Disaster, in the Wake of the Disaster, right? Which kind of aims to funnel people to fight over a certain profitable stuff. Just want to make a little deviation here. How about like making similar things to rock mining, where something like an volcano eruption happens somewhere at the moon, and you're sold the coordinates, and you fly there, and there's like a few hundred of headnite or something rocks, and then there's a PvP location with ballistas and all of that deployed.
I mean,
would be fun.
I remember this like vividly.
Yeah.
Is that when the salvage missions were in production, mining missions were described exactly the same. They just called them resource missions or something like that. And Wake of Disaster had a different name. It was called Resource Rush because it was meant to be
speculated
both.
on this.
Yeah,
we speculated back in the day on this, and it would like provoke such a different type of gameplay where you would be sold, or it could be free. Just like whatever you buy in, it's free, doesn't matter, and you like fly into the field with a team, because solo it's gonna be just death sentence, right? You fly in with a team with whatever in future ironclad, right now probably like a C2, and you deploy few ballistas, few whatever. You have like air support, and there's a shit ton of the small rocks, and you have multiple rocks dealing with that. And then we can propagate this on Rock DSs. Just give like a Rock DS driver a second arm, one mines, another one just scoops, and all of that copium stuff. Wouldn't that be great?
It would be great.
I mean, it probably would, but they totally forgot about it.
Is Wake a success? That's the only thing.
Wake is.
I think it was a success in philosophy, but not a success in practice.
Yeah,
if that makes sense,
exactly. It's
where
a
it was like
success in
that's a good
philosophy.
idea. It
Yeah,
just maybe wasn't implemented the best way.
Wake doesn't suck.
I think
Actually,
it's all about the values.
Why?
Yeah,
It's all about the values. I think it's all about the values, how much it costs, how much you earn. Because at some point it was good. We had
a lot of fun, right? Cutlet way back when it first happened.
Yeah. And somewhat recently, when I was doing Zero to Pirate, we actually saw a reclaimer warping into middle of nowhere. And because in Zero to Pirate we're low on funds, we were like speculating for 5 minutes, is he going to the Wake of the Disaster? And then I made a call, okay, we're spending 200K. We did spend 200K, and we got him, and we earned like $500,000.
Hell yeah!
It was like a very interesting gameplay. We were waiting until they pick up the last ship, then we rush in, like disable board. It was crazy stuff, but it just has to happen more, right?
Yeah.
It just has to happen
I
more.
think it happens more, like you said, the values, but it's less the values of the things that we have now, and it's more of just creating value, period, in the game. And yeah, more players in a server, and then all of a sudden everything changes, right? But
let me
that dream has been waiting forever.
Let me see if I can get these memories from you guys. Do you remember 2, maybe 3 years ago? I think it was like the first online CitizenCon. They were talking all about dynamic events. I think we had only had Xenothreat at that stage, and they were talking about what they want to do in the future and how it's all going to work. And the example they used was a feature called Gold Rush, a dynamic event that they've mentioned like twice and has disappeared completely. And the entire thing was exactly what you were saying, Cutlet. It was, there is a massive concentration in this one area of some type of ore, whatever it was. Fight over it, exactly like how essentially like how in Wake of Disaster happens.
Yeah, that'll work the moment they make crafting. I think like crafting becomes valuable, a thing that people want to do, and the things that you craft are valuable, like the values mattering, like Cutlet says. Then that's the moment you have people going to Wake, and the moment you have people going to whatever Gold Rush is, Resource Rush, whatever they decide to do, right?
Overall, this is totally not a new concept. Not that we are like coming up with some groundbreaking game design decisions right here at A2C, because like there are games that are focused on that. Like there was a game long ago called APB, where it was like basically like GTA, but it was a city, and there were 2 factions, cops and criminals, and the entire game revolved about one group in a faction taking a mission to deliver like A to B or whatever. And the moment that mission was taken, a opposite faction would get a counter mission. And because on every server there are multiple groups, someone would take it. So they have to counter that. So it starts with like a PvE thing where you have to do X or bring A to B, but you get countered by players, right? And that what like I think SC lacks at the higher end of missions and whatever, mining whatsoever. But anyway, that was a little bit of a deviation to the ROC mining. You're, as far as I understand, you're like talking about the Ironclad and all that.
Yeah,
I don't know how you, Mike, feel about it, because I missed you. Yeah, I missed your emotions on that, but
it's the perfect
when I saw
cargo
Ironclad,
ship.
I started crying. Okay,
it's the perfect cargo ship.
It is the ship that brought. There were 2 things that brought back emotions looking at the ships for me this past week or whatever. First of all, finally got the Mark I Hornet, because for years I was speculating it will end up exactly as it ended, because whatever was promised back in 2014, 13, whenever they sold it, made 0 sense. We were seeing over the years the game, which way the game is moving, all of that. Like,
did you buy these as like an investment?
Yeah, not as an investment. I like what brought me into the game initially was the video of like the initial promo or second promo video of Star Citizen, where at some point they show the Hornet of like flying in open space and articulating all the thrusters, and it was like this military Hornet. I think a lot of people remember that video from a lot of OGs. And I saw the ship, I saw its form, I fell in love. I saw the logic of how ships move in space back in the day, especially because it was also like for me it was like post Even Line. And Even Line was completely different point and click. And I was like, oh my God, that is fantastic. And that form factor of Hornet was just embedded into my head like forever. And that what sold me the game.
Yeah, and just to be clear, Cutlet gave the F7A Mark I like upgrade thing to like some of his friends. He gave one to me. I think you gave one to Noodle. I don't know who else you gave it to, like maybe some of your org mates.
One to Vection.
One to Vection. Yeah, so like randomly this little $20 upgrade that Cutlet was like gave to me, and I was like, oh my God, that's so awesome, what a nice guy. turned out to be like an entire spaceship. Like they just did something totally unexpected to me, but
it
not
was
unexpected
expected.
to you.
I was speculating they will do that. Because like whatever they promised with it, it was completely like not in
It was supposed to be
the
a body
way the
kit
game was
or
developing.
something.
Like all of it was like it will modify your hull so it looks like F7A, but it's not outfitted like F7A, but you will be able to theoretically upgrade it to a proper. I was like, listen, no, guys, this is not happening. You will end up giving us an F7A or an upgrade to an F7A, and that's it, like just a CCU. And that's how it ended. I actually am, once in bajillion years, I am happy that CAG were generous enough
they did
to do
something
this
that
move.
cost them money.
Yeah, like the proper move. They didn't say you have to have F7C Mark 1 to apply this upgrade. They literally gave you the ship.
They just gave it to you.
That is a Giga Chad move. I'm not gonna lie. Probably they calculated there's not so much of them around.
Yeah.
And
it was probably a low risk Giga Chad move.
Exactly.
Yeah, like okay, we will lose X amount of money, but we will make people happy, and everyone will talk about it. Let's lose some money, right?
Now,
But
I was watching your stream when you were pulling it out for the first time, but you used it for like 5 minutes. Like, it's no good, right? I tried it for a little while, and it was kind of like, eh.
I mean, it's hard to say. Is it no good? It is. The
Mark II is killing everything. That's the problem,
lower.
Right?
Well, listen, Mark II is killing everything right now. One of the biggest reasons is the 22.2 side strafe boost. No other ship basically has it. It's broken. So that's gonna definitely go away in future. So
just quickly, what is it with Hornets always having like G-force based like busted
for the
bugs
last
all the time?
last like 2 years?
Whatever.
I feel like it's been the Hornet is the one that's. I guess the last
what
like,
I've
6
heard,
months, but
what I've heard, I've never experienced that, but certain players are telling me you can do something to the Hornet tracker. So it pulls a 35G upstrafe.
Yeah,
I've heard it. I've
I
never
think
seen it, but I've heard
Yogi
it.
mentioned that on SEL. Yeah, someone mentioned it on SEL.
I've never seen it. It's not something apparently that happens just by flying it, because I tried and it never happened. But apparently you can do something. Well, Vection is messaging me right now saying tracker has 33 up, nothing special. You just get it as normal. I don't know. Whatever. So yeah, I think that was a good move. I'm very on the edge with all this sunsetting. It's pure FOMO, obviously, because they were like, okay, we squeezed that amount of money in Hornets. Our income on Hornets releasing Mark IIs is now 0. How can we squeeze more? Let's sunset them, right? How they should have done it, I guess, again, they should have taken a financial hit on that and said, okay, if you are mad about what's going on, here is a 0 CCU to any owner. Here is a 0 CCU from Mark 1 to Mark 2, because we don't want to be that bad of a company. And then you decide, do you want to keep the collection ship, or do you want to upgrade to Mark 2 and forget about the Mark 1? Apparently they didn't do that. So, because I don't have Mark 1s in my hangar. I don't have Mark 1s in my hangar, so maybe they will do that in future if the rage will be like too much. But about the Ironclad,
I don't think we'll get any. I don't think we'll get any 0 CCU upgrades, and it'll always be this is better. Like they in future Mark IIs, they will, if they sunset anything else, they're not going to do that. This is a money-making thing, and this is not a doing right by the game thing. Unfortunately, it can do right by the game by making Mark IIs better than their Mark Is for the game, like for the game design. But they're also using it as a tool to make money. And
I would imagine, like, again, those who played Eve, they know how the Tech 2 and Tech 3 things works, right? You have the base ship, and then you have the Tech 2 variant that is just better. But Eve has an economy. Eve doesn't sell ships directly, at least. You can always black market
That's
it.
the big difference, right?
Yeah.
Is you're not pledged. Well, you can sort of do it now, but that's a very recent thing in Eve.
Yeah.
But you weren't able to like pledge for those sort of things, and so it's like that's way more rough.
And Cutlet, I'm putting my timer on you. So after the Ironclad, we're done because we got to get going.
Basically, yeah, that's
It's
Ironclad
lunchtime.
last thing, I guess. Ironclad is basically, I guess, last thing. I just want to say, Giga ship, Giga useful. At least I can see it being for what we do for piracy.
Yeah. Giga PNG.
For trading, we will. Sorry, what?
Giga JPEG, Giga PNG.
Yeah, Giga JPEG. Yeah, I saw.
Yeah, speaking of, is this not like the perfect ship for what you were saying on Twitter this week?
It is the
Where
perfect
you were
ship.
like,
I still.
yeah,
I
we
saw it
need
and
a
I
ship
started
that's-
crying. I had tears in my eyes because it was the second ship that surprised me. Mark 1 was the first one, and then the second ship I was like, oh my god, I'm finally getting emotions looking at the JPEG. That didn't happen for years. Right?
They just
and then I was like, no way I can afford this shit.
Needed for once.
Yeah. And it brings back the memories of Caterpillar when Caterpillar was meta and all that.
Yep.
And I was like, this is like, I cannot afford it. And then just Senelai rolls in with his like big balls and just gives me the dual pack. And I'm like, what the fuck, bro?
Yep. That sounds
so
like
yeah,
Senelai.
I'm a happy owner and I cannot be happier. Right. One thing before we call it. Sorry, one thing. Firebird.
Classic Cutlet.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, what do you think about the Firebird?
I think I fought it in Arena Commander last night, and I want to punch a hole through my monitor. That's what I think. It's annoying.
Annoying, like what? Like with missiles?
Yeah, the missiles, I couldn't shake them. The ones, the EM missiles, they're cancer.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just another example of missile ships only work when missiles are broken, and that's it. Like I think the.
But what do you think about the marketing of the Firebird?
I don't know. I didn't even really pay much attention to it.
With the
idea
feel
of
nothing?
it can fire more missiles than anything else kind of thing. That's that shit.
No.
So what are you referencing?
I'm referencing the original Hornet. Original Saber.
Okay.
Then the Intel Raven.
Yeah.
And then the Firebird. And then the magical normal Saber that is coming with dampener, and then the delay of a Zeus MR. What do you think about that chain of events? Anything?
No, I don't care about ships as much, I guess. Yeah, I don't have as. I get emotional about industry ships, and I have absolutely no connection to any combat ships.
Yeah, so
I feel like nothing about
the red bubble ships. The red bubble ships
are your Ironclad, right?
My industrial ships, as for you, right?
Yeah.
The dampening ships. So here is like people will probably hate me on speculating about it, and I you should all put on the tinfoil hats right now
because they really make it sound like it's gonna have a dampener.
So all put on your tinfoil hats. I'll tell this. And I'm out. I will not take any more time.
Okay.
So we had a Raven, which kind of Saber, but it's not. We had a Raven. Now they create a Firebird that is red. I would make a joke about the AMD, but whatever. And Saber is a combat ship. Raven was a utility ship, like combat utility ship.
Yeah.
And Firebird definitely had to follow the combat utility also. Blue EMP, red dampener. But then the marketing team kicks in. And said, "What is this shit? We're not gonna sell this. We're not gonna waste this beautiful asset to sell it to the nerds who actually use dampener because that's like fraction of our audience. Where can we use this asset really?
Yeah,
this beautiful asset because it looks." Because this is a damn cool looking asset. So we will scrap the dampener and we will give the middle mouse click shape that every single person can do no matter what their skill set is.
I see. Okay.
So it sells better. Right?
So your tinfoil is that it was going to be a dampener.
It was going to be a dampener, and then the last moment marketing screwed that, and then the director of sales department, John Crew, comes in and hints that we're gonna give you the another Saber with a dampener, Because you know what, guys? Because the guys who use dampening ships, they're so degenerate that they will buy a flying box with thrusters if it has a dampener. They don't care on the looks.
This is all
They don't
very
care.
based and true, though, because anybody who uses a
And
dampener...
confirmed. I believe it's also confirmed.
He's speaking, like, he's looking at himself in the mirror while saying this. Like, anybody who buys a dampener, anybody who uses dampener ships will buy all the dampener ships. So
Exactly.
it's true. It doesn't matter what they look like or anything.
We will feed you all the trash down your throat.
Yeah,
we will not yet have a beautiful ship because we want to earn more money on it. So we will give you the normal saber. We'll just strap on, like Drake does, a dampener with a duct tape on it and sell it to you. You will buy it anyway. You're not getting actually a cool-looking ship, right? And then Firebird sold bad because it's trash. So they come out with a statement, we will give you twice more missiles and more stealth. Why would you give the ship more stealth? I equipped the ship, and the guys in a PU, in a 0.1 patch, were not seeing me from 2.5 kilometers. How much more stealth you want to give to the ship? What is going on here? This is insanity. They're just doing this to sell it. It's crazy. Guys, I was wondering if no one buys Ironclad. If no one buys Ironclad, will they give it another roll of cargo?
Probably.
Maybe we shouldn't buy Ironclad? So they give it more cargo? I don't know.
It'll double its cargo. But go ahead. The idea of it's already, like, if you notice its stealth in the game now, it's already very stealthy. It's already
and they're increasing
really
it.
doubling it. They're doubling it.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
What? Like why?
So yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
And then look at the event. No. It's the same story. It's the same story. 1 minute. 1 minute. 1 minute. It's the same story. And then they do that with a Firebird and the Saber, a dampener. And then John Crew just waves his hand and tell us that the Zeus MR is getting delayed by like probably half a year, and maybe we're gonna see it at the end of the year or something. Bye, Mike. This is my show now, right? And like he's like, okay, we're gonna sell you the QD Saber, and we will put your wallets on a cooldown, and then sell you the MR half a year later. It's crazy. I'm done.
He hasn't breathed. There were no.
Dropping the mic. Dropping the mic. That's
I love
it.
We love.
That was
you,
great.
Cutlet.
That was great.
I could hear the whole time, but no, it's weird because we're still purely speculating on the idea of there being a QED, but we speculated on it, and then John Crew comes out and says it's the ship that you were probably speculating on. What was the other speculation? So it has to be right, and then yeah, we'll see. But you're very based and true. Like it's they do these things all the time. It's so the people look at the Hornet and go, they made that thing bugged on purpose so it sells. It's hard to argue against it because it happens all the time. Probably not true, but it happens all the time. Then
every time they said it's not true, but every time it happens.
Yeah.
Every time they say it's just a bug, but every time it happens. It's crazy. I don't believe it anymore.
But this time it didn't happen with the Firebird. The Firebird bad or not as good, and then literally made it better because it probably didn't sell that well. Like, it's pretty silly.
Yeah, you can just spam missiles. It already does it. Like, you have no skill, you spam missile. I took the Firebird, and I was just salvoing people, and they were just dying in Atmo. What do you mean it doesn't do it? It does it. You just salvo a guy, and he dies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, the big thing is it doesn't look like the updates have made much of a difference, probably, to how many Firebirds have sold. It looks like it's mostly just been Drake stuff.
Yeah, I just don't think people cared about it as much. I
think
even though missile boats are easy, I don't think people like them or care for them.
I think
it is less likely that it has
anything
anything to do with how powerful it is or wasn't, and much more likely that it has to do with it's just not the kind
As
of
I said, scrap the unknown Saber variant, give Firebird a QD, leave it a missile boat. It's going to be a QD missile boat, and it's fine. It's going to be really good.
That would be sick.
Yeah,
I'd be keen on that.
Make a dampener missile boat. That would be actually something different. But nope.
Not yet, at least. All right, Cullet, we'll let you go, though. I got to eat. Croncy's got
Yeah,
to
man, thanks for having me. I'm sorry stealing the show, as always. I actually didn't expect to be here, but I randomly ended up here. So I'll catch you later, guys. Thanks for the fun talks. Always cool.
Yeah,
always.
cheers.
I watch Cullet every day, but I watch him on YouTube. It's pretty funny. I always watch Cullet on YouTube, and he gets mad. He's like, "Why aren't you in my Twitch channel?" I just type in the YouTube chat. But yeah, Cullet's great. We love Cullet. In case you guys don't know Cullet, he's another Star Citizen streamer. And he just posted a YouTube video today, actually, about how to use the dampener. So check him out. Good friend of ours, and great guy. So love Cullet. So if you guys haven't, make sure you hit follow on his channel, okay? Please do that.
Yep.
And I think that's where that leaves us for the day.
Pretty much, yeah. I do just want to bring up one thing, which you'll be doing in 2 weeks' time, and that I'll be commentating on 2 weeks' time. That I just want to make sure everyone knows about, which is the AVS Fighter Flight tournament.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So 2 weeks' time, you guys can watch Mike
get in it too.
The wrong way. I believe so. I would have to double check. There's been some like names that haven't been confirmed yet.
Yeah.
Is my understanding. But yeah, you guys can watch Mike get absolutely shreked, which is going to be good fun. And it's for charity.
Yeah, so, I'm going to get destroyed. There's one team that's pretty strong. Cullet, I already have a team that was assigned to me, so I don't know how it's working. He's like, we got to team up. We don't get to choose. They choose the teams. So in case you guys don't know, yeah, it's for Gamers Outreach charity. It's a 3v3 Master Modes tournament with some interesting rules to make it more about flight. If you guys watch Avengers videos, it's really kind of trying to hammer home the points that he's been making with what he thinks about Master Modes. And I think it's going to be really fun and allow a bit more skill to come forward and a bit of the jank that currently exists to not be there. And my team is Neeble and Expat Brat. Yep. And yeah, I think Cullet's maybe getting in there, but we don't know what team he's on. I forgot who Burks is with. There's some interesting teams there. There's some good teams. There's some teams that are maybe out of balance or whatever, but in the end it's for charity, so who gives a shit? And it's going to be a ton of fun. And yeah, so we're going to be pushing that probably for the next couple of weeks and raise a bunch of money for kids. The charity is to give kids consoles and games and shit while they're in hospitals dealing with terminal illnesses. So it is an awesome cause, and I can't wait to take part in it. It's going to be great.
Yeah, it's going to be good fun.
Yeah. So
but yeah, other than that, hopefully this next week we get to talk about the cargo patch. That'll be the thing, maybe. If we get there.
Better be.
Surely it gets to Evo Cardi by at least the end of the week. Hopefully.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
And yeah, that'll be about it. It'll be the end of Invictus, so there won't be much else going on. So yeah.
I'm not going to blame the 2 hour and 20-minute podcast on Cullet, because we didn't get the callers until like an hour 15. That was on me.
Yeah.
So
we had some stuff to talk about.
For sure. It was every week's been busy. Every week's been busy. And ISC is going on holiday for 4 weeks coming up.
And SEL for 2 weeks.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I mean, it makes this is the longest that they've ever done like ISCs back to back.
Yes.
It's just been 5 months straight, right? Well, end of January till now. So.
I will just say I look forward to that every week. And from a fan standpoint, there has to be a way to deliver a show every week.
Just get Jared out there live streaming some Lego.
No, I don't want to see that shit. Like, you can do. They could do it. It's just a matter of figuring it out. Like, I'm sure it can be done, and it's just from a fan perspective. It is. They made a post saying they were going to go maybe 2 weeks off, and they did go extra weeks this time. So it's like kind of like, all right, get it, I get it, but I really want to see them get to that. Like, yeah, we're going to take a 2-week hiatus, and then eventually they get their systems in place where it's a 1-week hiatus, and then hopefully they get their systems in place where there's none. Right? Like, I know. Like Linus Tech Tips does like post like how many like it can be done, right? And he's got people.
It can be done, but Star Citizen is not a video content. Like the CRG are not a video content company. They're a JPEG content company, but they're not a video content company.
Agreed. But I think it can be done.
It's not that I necessarily disagree with you, but I do think it's a little bit.
I'm speaking, of course, and I'm just speaking from my own selfish. I want to. This isn't even from a content creator standpoint. We talk so much about how we did not have a single week off. That was boring. It's about to happen, right? It may not happen this week because we have the cargo thing, but it's coming, right? So we're gonna have an ATC. We're like, what do we talk about this week? We're gonna have that talk, Croncy, at some point, and it's because they didn't get this kind of nailed down, right? So.
Well, luckily, we have a great community who can go to the questions for the show on the Discord and give us those ideas for content.
Exactly. So that's when we are like, hey, what do you guys want to talk about? Like, let's pie in the sky things, Space Cutlet episode, and then we're good. Right? So that's where we'll leave it for the show. If you guys are new here catching the show for the first time, thank you. This is where, the show will take place on Twitch here, on twitch.tv/SaltEMike. If you guys are watching on YouTube, we love you over there. There is a YouTube channel for the podcast specifically, Answer the Call SC. And for the guys who've supported us with memberships and all those things, thank you. We really appreciate it. Check out the new Discord, !podcast in Twitch chat. And again, we'll put that in the description on the video on YouTube. So thank you so much for all your support lately. We really could tell you guys enjoy the show, and it's really awesome. So it's actually kind of heartwarming that the podcast is doing so well. So love you guys. Appreciate it. And don't forget
to answer the call.